Chapter 76. Luo Sha, Kyosuke also knows that in the future the fourth Kazekage of Sunagakure is also the father of Temari, Gaara, Kankuro. Also, in Kyosuke's memory, during the Fourth War in the ninja world, Luo Sha's blood followed the limit, magnet-style golden sand, but it was very difficult to deal with. Thinking of this, Kyosuke suddenly became a little interested in the mission of this surprise attack on Sunagakure. Don't worry, Lord Orochimaru. We promise to complete this mission, Namikaze Minato said to Orochimaru with a determined look on his face. This mission is related to the next battle between Konoha and Sunagakure, which is extremely important. If the mission is successfully completed, this will definitely end the battle with Sunagakure early for Konoha village. Seeing Namikaze Minato's determined look, Orochimaru nodded. As for Namikaze Minato, although he is a disciple of Jiraiya, he is very reliable in doing things, and there are few mistakes in the task. That's why Orochimaru was so relieved to give Namikaze Minato this mission. Minato, remember that although the mission is important, in the event of an accident, the safety of the personnel must be ensured at the first time and evacuate quickly. 5 Tsunade also spoke at this time, facing Namikaze Minato with a serious expression. After all, the risk factor of this mission is too high, and the opponent has an advantage in numbers, so don't be brave at the critical moment. Contrary to Orochimaru's words, Tsunade's words seemed very human. Namikaze Minato was stunned after hearing this, and nodded affirmatively. Don't worry, Tsunade-sama, I will. To be honest, Kyosuke was surprised when Tsunade said these words. He did not expect that Tsunade treats his subordinates well. TSK, it seems that the eldest sister Tsunade is a person who doesn't really care about her words, and is cold on the outside and hot on the inside. Looking at Tsunade above, Kyosuke couldn't help thinking. At this time, Kyosuke was watching Tsunade's eyes, and he was immediately caught by Tsunade, who was paying attention to Kyosuke. Followed by, Tsunade glared at Kyosuke, revealing a fierce look. What are you looking at, kid? There is a very beautiful scenery in front of me. I want to force myself not to see it, but I can't. Kyosuke was not intimidated by Tsunade at all, but smiled and looked at Tsunade. Beautiful scenery? Is this kid talking about me? Tsunade thought subconsciously. Fortunately, Kyosuke looked at Tsunade with clear eyes at this time, without the slightest blemish or dirt. Otherwise, Tsunade would definitely greet him with a fist. If you don't learn anything at a young age, you know that Jiraiya is a lecherous fellow. Tsunade stared at Kyosuke angrily. Orochimaru sees Tsunade and Kyosuke again, and is wise to keep silent and keep his distance from Tsunade. When Orochimaru heard Tsunade say that Kyosuke and Jiraiya were so horny, the corners of his mouth twitched. This guy Kyosuke, speaking of it, is really as horny as that guy Jiraiya. Orochimaru couldn't help but think so. Kyosuke was speechless when he heard Tsunade's comment. Is he like Jiraiya? A womanizer? Hello. Tsunade, aren't you belittling me? Can that guy Jiraiya be compared to himself? That guy is purely an ISP. Kyosuke is different. Although he is also very fraternity, how can he have any bad intentions? He just wants to give those girls a warm home. So, Kyosuke said to Tsunade angrily, Sister Tsunade, what you said is wrong. Can Jiraiya be on a par with me? Please, I'm much better than Jiraiya. Tsunade folded his hands on his chest, looked at Kyosuke with a cold look in his beautiful eyes, and did not speak. Forehead. Kyosuke was speechless when he saw Tsunade's expression of, I'll just watch what you want to say. The words that emotion said just now are all useless, and they are busy working in vain. Also, what does Tsunade look like? 8 points to watch the play. 9 points of contempt. I can't believe it. With Tsunade's expression, Kyosuke felt a little irritated no matter how he looked at it. Forget it, you don't understand. Kyosuke took a deep breath, always feeling that nothing good would happen with Tsunade, and decided not to pay too much attention to her. Orochimaru-sensei, is this task done by me and Namikaze Minato-sensei as a team? Kyosuke looked at Orochimaru next to Tsunade and asked. If it was just the 5 of them, Kyosuke felt that this mission would be difficult to complete. Obviously, there is a shortage of staff, and it's also very big, because Namikaze Minato will definitely contain Luo Sha at that time, and it is a bit unrealistic to rely only on Kyosuke and Kakashi and other 4 people to face Sunagakure's entire logistics transport force. Although Sand Shinobi's overall strength is not that strong in Sunagakure's logistical transport unit, they can't handle the large number of them. No. Orochimaru shook his head. The surprise attack on the Sunagakure logistics transport force was originally a dangerous move, and it would be too hasty to let Kyosuke and Namikaze Minato and other 5 people carry out the mission. This mission, not only you and Minato's team, but also 5 jonin will follow you to carry out the mission, Orochimaru explained to Kaiosuk. Originally, Orochimaru was thinking about whether Yuhi Mako's team and Namikaze Minato's team would complete this mission together. But after final consideration, Orochimaru gave up. First, the Yuhi Red Squad has other tasks for them to perform. Second, in this surprise attack on Sunagakure, the Yuhi True Red team lacked the overall strength, and the team strength was obviously weaker. After Kaiosuk heard this, he glanced at the 5 Konoha Jonin not far away. The 5 Jonin were older, wearing ninja vests, ready to go. Since Orochimaru also arranged for these 5 Jonins, Kaiosuk is somewhat at a loss for this mission. It's time to explain. Orochimaru and Tsunade have already explained to Namikaze Minato. In a short while, the team that raided the logistics transportation of Sunagakure was formed. Namikaze Minato led the team, Kaiosuk, and the 5 Jonin as the main force to destroy Sunagakure's logistics transport. As for Kakashi, Rin, and Obito, they followed Kaiosuk and the others to see the situation and act. The surprise attack Sunagakure team was formed, and Namikaze Minato decided to set off immediately without delay. Then, Orochimaru-sama, Tsunade-sama, we're off now. Namikaze Minato said goodbye to Orochimaru and Tsunade and was about to leave. Kaiosuk and Rin followed Namikaze Minato and the others, and when they were about to leave, Tsunade's voice came from behind them. Hey, kid, be careful, don't die there. No one will collect your body. Tsunade was still duplicitous and said to Kaiosuk with a choking tone that didn't pay for his life. When Kaiosuk heard this, the corners of his mouth twitched, and Jonin's forehead was about to appear a big well. Is this Tsunade cursing him, or is he really cursing him? How deep is this resentment towards him? And Kaiosuk has only realized until now how bad Tsunade's temper is. Alas, that stupid girl from Shizen can endure and accept Tsunade. At the same time, Kaiosuk is a little fortunate that he has already understood how much Tsunade her bad temper. Otherwise, Kaiosuk felt that one day, instead of dying on the battlefield, he would be d off by Tsunade first. Going along, Kaiosuk with his back to Tsunade did not turn around, the corners of his mouth raised, and he waved at Tsunade and said, well, you don't have to worry about Nanny Tsunade. Also, Nanny Tsunade, I just found out that you are also arrogant. TSK, since you care so much about me, just say it straight. Anyway, this is not a shameful thing. After all, I admit that I am handsome. It is understandable that you want to attract my attention. Kaiosuk felt that he couldn't be so weak at this time. Even if he wanted to die, he had to be tough in front of Tsunade. As for the consequences, anyway, I'm going to perform a mission, and I won't be able to come back for a while. So what are you afraid of? Gone. When the time came back after completing the task, Tsunade's anger was almost gone. Kaiosuk was thinking about this, and suddenly, pain came from his hand. Kaiosuk-kun, you are too much. Lin's faint voice came from his ears. Kaiosuk smiled wryly. I was so quick to talk just now, but I forgot Rin beside him. However, Lin Na pinched the flesh in her hand too hard. Hiss. Lin, take it easy, it hurts a lot. So Kaiosuk knows it hurts too. Kaiosuk, I am most afraid that the air will suddenly become quiet. What Kaiosuk said to Tsunade just now, Orochimaru and Namikaze Minato who were present were all dumbfounded and stunned when they heard it. Just now, as if there was a thunderbolt from the blue. The thunder made them scorched inside and out in an instant. What did they all hear? This guy, Kaiosuk, dared to him **** Tsunade-sama like this. Is he dying? At this time, Orochimaru even began to observe a moment of silence for Kaiosuk. For good, sure enough, Kaiosuk succeeded in angering Tsunade. Little devil, stop. 99, what did you just say? Say it again. 39 looking at Kaiosuk's back. Tsunade was so angry that his silver teeth clucked, and his fist was tightly clenched, and he would rush forward to give Kaiosuk a hard lesson the next moment. In this situation, if Kaiosuk doesn't escape, he will be beaten. So, Kaiosuk didn't wait for Namikaze Minato and the others, and immediately rushed out of the tent and answered Tsunade without fear. Have I planted it? You won't know if I have planted it after you try it, huh? Nurse Tsunade, see you later. Kaiosuk's presumptuous words echoed in the tent, and the people who left behind were all dumbfounded, with a strange look on their faces. When Lin heard Kaiosuk's words, blush had already covered her entire face. Even if Lin had not experienced anything, she had heard of things between men and women. When she heard that Kaiosuk treated Master Tsunade, one of the Sanins, so disrespectfully, Lin was ashamed and angry, and she couldn't help worrying about Kaiosuk. Lin was afraid that Kyosuke would anger Tsunade, so Tsunade beat Kyosuke outright. Although Rin thinks Kyosuke is very good, no matter how good Kyosuke is, he is still no match for Tsunade. How can it be repaired? 99 looking at Kyosuke, who had long since disappeared. Tsunade, who was gnashing his teeth in anger, couldn't help but want to let out his anger by roaring loudly. Chapter 77. Still, Tsunade held back. Damn little devil, when you come back, see how Auntie can teach you how to be a good person. Tsunade decided that when Kyosuke came back from this mission, she would immediately tie the kid up to Wahwada, and she wanted to concoct him well. I'm really sorry. Just when Tsunade was thinking about how to punish Kyosuke, Rin stood up, put her hands in front of her, and bowed to Tsunade. Master Tsunade, what happened to Kyosuke-kun just now? I apologize to you here, but Kyosuke-kun didn't do it on purpose. I'm sorry. Hearing Tsunade's words and preparing to teach Kyosuke a hard lesson, Rin, who was pure, panicked, and Rin was worried and confused, so she subconsciously stood up and apologized for Kyosuke. Seeing that Rin actually came out to apologize to Kyosuke, the anger on Tsunade's face dissipated a lot, but looking at Rin, Tsunade had to show a bit of surprise and interest. Tsunade didn't expect that someone would apologize to Kyosuke, and this person was a girl who looked pretty and cute. That stinky boy Kyosuke is lucky. There is such a good girl to see him. Seeing Rin bowing down to apologize to Kyosuke, Tsunade felt unhappy in his heart. As for the rest, Tsunade didn't think much of it. Apologize for him? Who are you from that kid? Tsunade instead asked Rin with some interest. Lin was suffocated when she heard the words and didn't know how to answer for a while. After a pause, Lin hesitated and slowly replied, Master Tsunade, I am a friend of Kyosuke. 35 After Lin said these words, Obito's eyes lit up involuntarily. Rin just said that she and that hateful Uchiha Kyosuke are just friends. Doesn't that mean he still has a chance? For a time, Obito's heart was darkened for a long time, and at this moment he finally won a little bright light. For 130 Obito feels that life is not as bad as he thinks, and it also has a soft side. Friend? Tsunade looked at Lin with a playful look in his eyes. I'm afraid it's not just a simple friendship, or you are his girlfriend. As soon as Tsunade said these words, Lin panicked, as if her hidden secret was mercilessly exposed. Her little heart was beating violently. No, not. Master Tsunade, I'm really sorry about Kyosuke-kun just now. I'm sorry. 99 After Lin finished speaking, she didn't dare to stay here any longer, and hurriedly trotted out. Seeing Rinna's pretty figure running out, Tsunade couldn't help but sigh. Young. So nice. As she followed, she thought of Kyosuke again, Kyosuke's smirk, and somehow Tsunade seemed to see her brother Nawaki on Kyosuke's body. That guy, who is about the same age as Nawaki, is always brave, has a stubborn temper, and always likes to make her angry. Tsunade thought so. No, not possible. How could that guy look like Nawaki? Not at all. Suddenly, Tsunade seemed to have come to his senses, shook his head fiercely, and remembered the hateful look that Kyosuke was looking at her with. He couldn't help but grit his teeth and said angrily, Nawaki is very simple. He won't be as lecherous as that guy at all. That kid Kyosuke is just a little pervert. Whoever that guy wants to say. It must be like Jiraiya. However, Tsunade thought of the little girl Rin's care and admiration for the kid Kyosuke, and denied it. No, how can Jiraiya be compared to that kid? That guy is even more hateful than Jiraiya. Bad. Bad. Tsunade knew that when he was at Kyosuke's age since CHFB, he was lustful, but with a lewd look on his face, he was not popular with girls. As for Kyosuke, Tsunade thinks it's different. Not only is his strength strong, but he also looks handsome and handsome. At first glance, he looks like a troublemaker. When I was young, I looked like a scumbag, bah. Tsunade couldn't help but despise Kyosuke. Seeing that something was wrong, Kyosuke, who had already walked for a long time, sneezed. Kyosuke touched his nose and muttered to himself. I guess that Tsunade girl is still scolding herself. The main battlefield of the Kingdom of Thunder, Konoha Base Camp. Jiraiya, who is wearing a ninja vest costume, is arranging how his subordinates will deal with Cloud Shinobi Village. Suddenly, Jiraiya felt a very itchy, uncomfortable tightness inside her nose. She couldn't help taking a deep breath, and then frowned. An incomparably huge sneeze sounded instantly in the tent. This sudden loud noise made the guards outside the tent startled. Come along, they look at me, I look at you, and then they all look into the tent. Oops, which girl is thinking of me? Alas, It seems that more than one girl is thinking about her brother. 35 from the tent, Jiraiya's rather narcissistic voice came. Ah. Near the border of the Land of Winds. In the setting sun, a group of troops is slowly moving forward. At a glance, there were about 100 people in the team, transporting truckloads of supplies. Because it was wrapped in tarpaulin, it was not clear what was inside. In front of the team, there is a young man, tall, with short brown hair, wearing a black ninja vest, and his face is serious. This person is Luo Sha, the leader of the Sunagakure Logistics Transport Unit. Luo Sha has a vigilant look on his face, looking forward from time to time. He knew that the logistics transport team he brought this time was related to the next battle with Konoha, so it was important, and no mistakes were allowed. To this day, Luo Sha still remembers Ding Ning's warning when Lord Chiyo gave him this important task. Luo Sha, the logistics transport unit you brought this time is very important. Remember, there must be no mistakes. Otherwise, we Sunagakure are really afraid of. Luo Sha still clearly remembers Lord Chiyo's warning words. Thinking of this, a very serious attitude appeared on Luo Sha's face. Chiyo-sama, don't worry, I will definitely escort the troops to the base camp intact. There will be absolutely no mistakes. Along the way, Luo Sha was very vigilant, for fear of any accident. If he encounters bandits, robbers, etc., Luo Sha is not afraid. He is afraid that Konoha's people will suddenly attack. Especially now that their team has reached the border of the Land of Winds, it is even more necessary to be vigilant and guard against the sudden attack of Konoha's people. However, fortunately, it is also not far from their base camp in Sunagakure. No accident, they will be able to reach the base camp tomorrow afternoon. Moreover, there are so many of them. If Konoha's people really dare to take risks and attack them without fear of death, they will have to weigh them. Lord Luo Sha, the sky is getting dark. Do you want to start camping at this time? At this time, a Jonin Sand shinobi came to Luo Sha and asked. After Luo Sha heard it, he looked into the distance. The sunset was about to sink into the horizon, and the sky began to darken. If they traveled through another night, they could reach base camp tomorrow morning. But marching at night is a big taboo for soldiers. Luo Sha doesn't want to take risks, and it is safest to take every step of the way. So, Luo Sha pondered for a while, and then ordered. Go on the orders, set up camp where you are, and remember, keep fireworks as little as possible. 99 fireworks are the easiest to reveal whereabouts, and Luo Sha attaches great importance to it. Yes, Lord Luo Sha, the Sand Shinobi said respectfully. Also, tell me, you must not let your guard down at night. Although it is very close to our base camp, remember that there may also be many Konoha people here. 5. Arriving at base camp tomorrow. I don't want anything to go wrong tonight. Got it? The sooner he got to the base camp, Luo Sha had to be nervous, for fear of an accident at this critical moment. As ordered, seeing Luo Sha's serious appearance, the name Sand Shinobi was also infected, and seemed serious for a reason. In the distance, in a wood. At this time, Kyosuke and the others were lurking here, carefully observing the movements of Sunagakure. In fact, 10 of Kyosuke and the others have been following Sunagakure's logistics transport unit for a day. When they discovered Sunagakure's whereabouts, Namikaze Minato immediately decided not to be alarmed, and followed behind Sunagakure to find out about Sand Shinobi's situation before preparing to act. Moreover, under the leadership of Luo Sha, Sunagakure was extremely vigilant, so that Kyosuke and the others did not dare to get too close, so they could only follow them far away. Master Minato, Sunagakure and the others have stopped to set up camp. What are our plans for the next step? At this time, one of the stalking Jonin said to Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Minato's face is very calm, but his mind can't help but run fast, thinking about what to do next, and whether the planned battle plan is feasible. Aside, Obito couldn't help but say, Damn, Sunagakure and the others are too vigilant. We have no chance to get close to them at all. Even if we get close, we will be discovered by them immediately. What Obito said was the truth. Under the leadership of Luo Sha, Sunagakure was very vigilant, and even sent a lot of Sand Shinobi out, and Chung scattered around to investigate the situation. Moreover, Sand Shinobi, who was probed in the front, were very particular about their positions, and their alertness could be described as 5 steps, 1 person, 10 steps, 1 post. If Sand Shinobi notices that something is wrong, he will immediately notify the formation layer by layer, and Sunagakure will respond quickly. Moreover, they were numerous, nearly 100. Kyosuke and the others are only 10 people in total, and the ratio of the number of people is 10 to 1. Therefore, in the state of extreme alert of Sunagakure, not to mention destroying the Sand Shinobi logistics materials, Kyosuke and others even want to get close to the logistics force of Sunagakure. Kakashi next to Obito nodded and agreed. Obito is right. Their defense line is very vigilant. If we want to attack, then the first task is to solve these stalking lines of sand shinobi first. 35 Kakashi paused, then continued. Furthermore, our speed must be fast. Otherwise, we will be stunned by the grass and the snake will be defeated. What Kakashi said made sense, and the 5 jonin present couldn't help but nodded when they heard it. Even Rin next to Kaiosuk nodded and agreed that Kakashi's analysis was correct. Apparently, Kakashi analyzed it pretty well. Chapter 78. When Obito saw that Kakashi's analysis was eloquent, he made a show in front of everyone and immediately became unhappy. Damn, this guy Kakashi just likes to be in the limelight. Especially when Obito saw that Rin nodded in agreement with Kakashi, his heart became even more unbalanced. Damn it. If I said that just now, maybe Lin would agree with me. And Kaiosuk next to Rin, hearing Kakashi's analysis in an orderly manner, couldn't help but look at him a little higher. This guy, Kakashi, still has something. But Kaiosuk also understands that, after all, Kakashi graduated from the ninja school at the age of 5 and was promoted to Chunin at the age of 6. He has performed many important tasks and has rich practical experience. In front of Kakashi, Obito and these genins are really new and cute little whites who have just entered the hut. Kaiosuk-kun, what do you think we should do? Rin, who was beside Kaiosuk, asked in a low voice. In Lin's opinion, Kaiosuk has experienced a lot on the battlefield and is very strong, so there must be a solution to this. Kaiosuk-kun is omnipotent. Rin is convinced. Actually, Kaiosuk agrees with Kakashi's analysis. If you want to get close to the Sunagakure Logistics Transport Unit, there is no other way than to kill Sand Shinobi, who is stalking from the periphery. If you're trying to avoid these stalking Sand Shinobi, then sorry, your idea is very good, but it's stupid. With these heavily defended stalkers Sand Shinobi around, there's no way Kimburn would have a chance to bypass them and attack Sand Shinobi directly. Hearing Rin ask Kaiosuk like this, Namake's Minato, Kakashi and others' eyes couldn't help but turn to Kaiosuk. They are also a little curious about what kind of solution Kaiosuk will have in this situation. After all, Kaiosuk is Sand Shinobi's Black Fangs. Facing Rin's shining eyes, Kaiosuk smiled. Is there a way? Of course there is. When Kaiosuk said this, Namake's Minato and the others moved in their hearts, and they listened more and more seriously, wondering what the solution that Kaiosuk said came from. But I'll reserve my opinion first. Let's listen to what Mr. Minato has to say. After all, Mr. Minato, you are the team leader. Kaiosuk said this after he had whetted the appetite of the crowd. Oh yes. Lin nodded and agreed with what Kaiosuk said. After all, Namake's Minato is the captain, and Minato-sensei is in charge of all the combat missions. So Lin looked at Namake's Minato. Teacher, what are we going to do with this mission? This? Namake's Minato smiled wryly. Just now, Namake's Minato was looking forward to seeing what good solutions Kaiosuk would have. But he didn't expect that Kaiosuk was sold out, but he wanted to listen to how he handled the matter. He just wanted to escape the problem and asked Namake's Minato to be this early bird. But Kaiosuk is right again. Minato is the captain, and it is the captain's responsibility to arrange the battle plan. Likewise, Kakashi and the 5 jonin were somewhat disappointed to see Kaiosuk sold off. In the eyes of Kakashi and the others, Black Fang, Uchiha Kyosuke will have some unexpected novel battle plan. However, Kyosuke let them down. When Obito heard Kyosuke's words, he had a look of disdain on his face. Uchiha Kyosuke, since you have a battle plan, why didn't you say it? In my opinion, you probably didn't think of any battle plan at all, but you pretended to be pretending to fool us. 99 Although Obito doesn't like Kakashi's limelight, he doesn't like Kyosuke even more. With such a good opportunity, Obito will certainly take advantage of it. So, he mocked Kyosuke in front of everyone just pretending to be serious. Obito's words were sharp, and he fired directly at Kyosuke. It seemed that after being suppressed for a long time, his dissatisfaction was vented at this moment. When Kakashi saw Obito say that to Kyosuke, he opened his mouth, but in the end he didn't say anything. But when Lin heard Obito slandering Kyosuke like this, she couldn't help it. With coldness in her eyes, she frowned and asked directly, Obito, if you have an opinion about Kyosuke-kun, you can say it directly, but please don't trouble Kyosuke. 55. What you do will only make me look down on you even more. After Lin said coldly to Obito, she ignored it. For Obito to treat Kyosuke like this, Lin was really angry. She felt that Kyosuke was right. Even if there is a mistake, Rin will support Kyosuke. Lin, you. Seeing that Lin was so partial to helping Kyosuke and speaking on behalf of Kyosuke, Obito was immediately lost. Lin's words were really heavy for Obito, stabbing him in his heart like a sharp knife. Obito is very upset. He feels that life is starting to get bad again. At the same time, Rin became more and more protective of Kyosuke, which made Obito have more and more opinions on Uchiha Kyosuke. Lin, don't say that. At this time, Kyosuke spoke up. Obito also made sense. It was my problem just now. I didn't explain it to everyone, sorry. Kyosuke smiled directly and generously and apologized to everyone without pain. Seeing Kyosuke speak so frankly, Lin became more and more fond of Kyosuke. Actually, Kakashi's analysis just now is right. If we want to get close to the logistics of Sunagakure, the first task is to get rid of those stalking sand shinobi first. 99 Kyosuke starts to express his opinion. Humph, it's not the same as Kakashi's analysis. It's the same as not saying it. Obito mumbled to himself, gloomily. However, because of Lin's scolding just now, Obito was much calmer at this time, and did not dare to jump out against Kyosuke again. Namikaze Minato nodded and frowned casually. That's right, but Kyosuke-kun, the biggest problem now is, if you really want to deal with those who are stalking sand shinobi, how can you not be surprised? Those stalking sand shinobi are a bit difficult to handle. As long as one of them reacts, it will quickly alert the surrounding sand shinobi. At that time, once the whereabouts of Kyosuke and the others are exposed, then this mission can be directly declared a failure. Because sand shinobi, who had reacted, would definitely be more vigilant, and if they missed an opportunity, Kyosuke and the others could only go back in vain. So, it's up to you, Minato-sensei. Kyosuke looked at Namikaze Minato and smiled. Aye. Namikaze Minato pointed to himself, somewhat surprised and puzzled. That's right. Kyosuke nodded and continued. Mr. Minato, if you want to talk about speed, then your Flying Thunder God technique is definitely the fastest. 99. I also believe that Mr. Minato should be able to get rid of those stalking sand shinobi in the shortest possible time. 99. When mentioning the Flying Thunder God technique, Kyosuke's eyes flashed with a bit of envy. ***, that is an extremely rare space ninjutsu. Flying Thunder God technique is an S-level time-space ninjutsu developed by second Hokage Senju Tobirama, which is a kind of body flicker technique. Teleportation can be achieved by using the spell, and the caster or objects in indirect contact with the caster chakra can also be teleported. There is no need to seal to use Flying Thunder God, and as long as you have enough energy, you can use it unlimitedly. This is clearly a super plugin. Well, wait a minute, Kyosuke. After Kyosuke finished speaking, Namikaze Minato said, if I use my Flying Thunder God, I can quickly solve Sand Shinobi without anyone knowing it, but, having said that, Namikaze Minato is a little embarrassed. There are a lot of Sand Shinobi being followed. No matter how fast I am, I will eventually be discovered by Sand Shinobi and the others. Namikaze Minato is right. There are a lot of Sand Shinobi stalking around. If Namikaze Minato alone, it is impossible to completely deal with those Sand Shinobi who are stalking outside without knowing it. The 5 Jonin nodded when they heard Namikaze Minato say this. That's right. After all, Sand Shinobi has a lot of them, and they will definitely be discovered by doing so. 0 As for Kakashi, Rin, Obito, and the 5 Jonin, the speed is not good, and they are not suitable for this operation. Looking at Namikaze Minato's slightly embarrassed appearance, Kyosuke smiled. Isn't it still me? As soon as Kyosuke said this, Namikaze Minato, Kakashi, and the others turned their attention to Kyosuke. At this time, they all have doubts in their hearts. Could Black Fong, Uchiha Kyosuke have the same speed as Namikaze Minato? If that's the case, that Kyosuke is really too strong. Seeing the doubts in the eyes of everyone, Kyosuke shrugged and explained. Don't look at me like that. Mr. Minato's Flying Thunder God technique is really strong, but if it's just about speed, I can barely manage it. Hearing Kyosuke's words, Namikaze Minato was stunned for a moment, and then a look of surprise appeared on his face. Just relying on his words, it is impossible to completely eliminate the stalking Sand Shinobi completely, but if it is true as Kyosuke said, with Kyosuke's help, then this plan works. Kyosuke-kun, are you telling the truth? The problem plaguing Namikaze Minato finally found a solution. He couldn't help but sigh in relief, and he confirmed to Kyosuke again, not quite sure yet. Kyosuke nodded. Don't worry, at my speed, I can solve a few Sand Shinobi without knowing it. It's not a big problem, but Kyosuke didn't forget to remind Namikaze Minato. It depends on our cooperation. After all, my ability is limited. That's no problem. Namikaze Minato did not find it difficult to cooperate with Kyosuke. After this discussion, Namikaze Minato has come up with a complete mission plan for the next mission. So, Namikaze Minato began to arrange. This mission is extremely important, and there is no room for mistakes. So I decided that at 3 in the night, when Sunagakure was most exhausted and weak, we would go into action. At 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, when Sunagakure's defenses are more relaxed, this is a good time. Hearing Namikaze Minato's arrangement, Kyosuke and the others nodded Yui. Single G. Chapter 79. Subsequently, Namikaze Minato continued to arrange. First, I and Kyosuke will deal with the stalking sand shinobi from the periphery. You keep up. After sneaking in, the first task is to destroy sand shinobi's food, medical care, weapons, and other materials. Then, everyone will act according to the situation. If sand shinobi comes, I will hold Luosha. You must move fast. After finishing, retreat quickly. Namikaze Minato arranged them one by one. After making arrangements, Namikaze Minato looked at Kyosuke and the others. I arranged it this way. If you have any questions or questions can be raised, we will discuss it again. Kyosuke shook his head after hearing this. Although Namikaze Minato is still young, he has performed many important tasks and is experienced and seasoned. This task is arranged properly, and there is basically no problem. In the end, Kyosuke and other 9 people agreed to Namikaze Minato's arrangement. After everyone fully understood this action plan, it was already dark and night began to fall. In the distance, the Sunagakure Logistics Transport Unit is stationed at the spot where the sparks are. 3 o'clock at night. The bright moon was covered by black clouds, and the night seemed to be a little darker. Under the darkness of the night, in the woods, there were 2 black figures that were fast and disappeared instantly, like ghosts. Behind the 2 figures for 3 zeros, there are 8 figures of different sizes closely following them, but their speed is not as fast as the 2 figures in front. At this time, a sand shinobi Chunin was hiding in an inconspicuous bush, and a companion who was not far behind confirmed that there was nothing wrong. The next moment, a ghostly figure flashed by his sight, and this sand shinobi was suddenly shocked. There is a situation. However, the next moment, before he could think about it, he felt that his mouth was covered by someone, and he felt a pain in his throat. Gradually, in the eyes of Sand Shinobi Chunin's boss, whose eyes were full of terror, the vitality slowly dissipated. Kyosuke quickly and silently understood the name Sand Shinobi, and without wasting a second, the figure disappeared in a flash. And Sand Shinobi, who was already dead, and the companion not far away, saw his companion move a few times in the bushes, but he didn't care much, and didn't even notice that his companion was killed. When the connector Sand Shinobi looked at his companion's position again, he suddenly felt a hand covering his mouth, preventing him from making a sound. Oops, the enemy is coming. Quickly reacted, the connector Sand Shinobi was subconsciously reaching out to take out the flare on his body. But unfortunately, before he could touch the flare, the icy and ruthless Kuwa directly cut his throat. The second Sand Shinobi, solved. Then, Kyosuke followed suit and quickly took out a Sand Shinobi. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a Chunin and gets 30 quest points. 99 ding. System prompt. Host hunts a Chunin and gets 30 quest points. 35 3 crisp voices came from Kyosuke's mind. However, Kyosuke doesn't have much time to care about this now. After quickly and silently ending the 3 stalking Sand Shinobi in a row, Kyosuke will take some time to adjust, and then it will be Namikaze Minato. Just as Kyosuke was about to finish the 3rd Sand Shinobi, Namikaze Minato immediately started. For a moment, there was a kunai with an art form, and after a little bit of cold light, it shot at a Sand Shinobi very quickly. Just when Kanken reached Sand Shinobi, the figure of Namikaze Minato appeared. When Sand Shinobi was stunned, Namikaze Minato ended the Sand Shinobi silently. Then, Namikaze Minato did the same, and continued to shoot, quickly shot the kunai engraved with the art at Sand Shinobi, appeared, and killed him again. Kyosuke and Namikaze Minato cooperated in tacit cooperation to eliminate the stalking Sand Shinobi one by one. Kakashi Obito and other 8 people followed closely behind Kyosuke and Namikaze Minato. For a long time, those stalking Sand Shinobi were silently killed by Kyosuke and Namikaze Minato. Kyosuke and the others gathered together and looked at the logistics transport unit in Sunagakure not far ahead. Many supplies are placed on the carriage, and there are Sand Shinobi patrolling around from time to time, and many tents are also set up. In this case, if Kyosuke and the others act together, Sand Shinobi and the others will surely be disturbed. When Sand Shinobi reacts, it will be even more disadvantageous to Kyosuke and the others. Acting together is too inefficient. Only by dividing into several teams can we fully implement the plan to attack Sanden Village. Thinking of this, Namikaze Minato said to the Kyosuke 9 people, If we act together, there will be too much movement, so we have to divide into several teams. After Namikaze Minato finished speaking, he looked at Kaiasuke. Kaiasuke, you and Rin, Ueno-senpai and Nakoka-senpai, are in a group. Kakashi, you and Namikaze Minato decided to split into 3 squads. The Kaiasuke team consists of Kaiasuke, Rin, and a Jonin. Kakashi's team, in addition to Kakashi, was paired with 2 Jonin. In the Namikaze Minato team, besides Namikaze Minato and Obito, there is also a Jonin. After the squads were assigned, Namikaze Minato deployed the squads to destroy the Sunagakure logistics base. After the deployment is complete, the 3 temporary teams are also ready to start operations. Before the action, Kaiasuke briefly arranged the division of labor. Rin, you and Ueno-senpai are mainly responsible for destroying Sunagakure supplies, and Nakoka-senpai and I will be responsible for protecting you and stopping Sand Shinobi. 359 Lin looked at Kaiasuke and nodded. Okay. The 2 Jonins also agreed with Kaiasuke's plan. It's not too late. Act quickly, you keep up. After Kaiasuke finished speaking, he took the lead, and the 3 of them followed Kaiasuke. When the 4 came to destroy the Sunagakure logistics base, there were 3 Sand Shinobi in front of them, and they were patrolling around. Kaiasuke knew that their actions would be exposed at this time, so they must act fast, be quick, and finish in time. Shave. Without hesitation, Kaiasuke attacked the 3 Sand Shinobi who were not far away. Who is it? After all, this is an open area, and Kaiasuke and the others rushed up and quickly exposed their whereabouts. He flashed directly in front of a Sand Shinobi. Before he could react in astonishment, Kaiasuke held the kunai in his hand, and with a forceful wave, he chopped off his head. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! Enemy attack! Enemy attack! The 2 companions not far from the dead Sand Shinobi watched as their companions were beheaded by Kaiasuke. When they followed suit, they immediately reacted, shouting loudly, and then quickly took out a signal flare on their body and fired it directly. After a crisp sound, the signal flare sent a long beam of light that rose above the sky, and then exploded into a bright and eye-catching fireworks. The fireworks were particularly dazzling in this dark night, and the crisp sound of the signal flare also awakened many people in Shine Village who were resting and sleeping. Then, the other 2 places of the Sunagakure logistics force also heard a crisp sound, and the flares burst into the sky. Apparently, the Namikaze Minato and Kakashi teams have also launched an attack. Kaiasuke, who quickly ended up with a Sand Shinobi, did not hesitate to use a body flicker technique and came directly to another Sand Shinobi. How can you succeed? Go to hell. After this Sand Shinobi reacted, he saw Kaiasuke's bloody slaughtering of his companions just now, and now facing Kaiasuke's lingering attack. Although he was a little scared and chilled in his heart, he suddenly slammed. Immediately, he drew out his ninja sword and slashed hard at Kaiasuke. Clang! 35 Kaiasuke's kunai collided with Sand Shinobi's broadsword, making a crisp iron collision sound. Armed hardened. Kaiasuke clenched his left fist, and instantly the fist arm hardened, hitting the Sand Shinobi hard. Kaiasuke's punch instantly knocked out the Sand Shinobi and vomited blood. Going along, Kaiasuke didn't hesitate. He picked up the kunai in his hand and threw it out. Kunai was very fast, and stabbed Sand Shinobi's forehead into it. This Sand Shinobi stared at him until death, his eyes full of terror and disbelief. The fight here at Kaiasuke ended quickly, and the 2 Sand Shinobi were resolved in no time. As for the other Sand Shinobi, he was entangled with the Konoha Jonin. Lin and another Konoha Jonin had already arrived at the Sunagakure logistics location and started to destroy them. There was a lot of movement here, and soon, quite a few Sand Shinobi came over. Kaiasuke ignored Konoha Jonin, who was entangled with Sand Shinobi next to him, and turned to look at Rin. When Kaiasuke saw the way Lin and the others destroyed Sunagakure's supplies, he couldn't help shaking his head. Where is the destruction? Lin and the others just scratched Sunagakure's supplies, threw them on the ground, and set fires in many places. What is this operation? Although the fire was set on fire, this fire 5.1 also burned too slowly. After waiting for a while, Sand Shinobi reacted. It will be directly extinguished. This damage is basically harmless and useless. Murder and arson have already been done, but how can there be less fuel for the steps of arson? So, Kaiasuke hurriedly came to help. Kaiasuke looked around, picked up a large bottle of gasoline beside him, and poured it directly on the supplies and tents in Shine Village. When he saw that the supplies were almost finished, Kaiasuke picked up a torch next to him and threw it directly on the fuel. Boom! When the torch met the fuel oil, it quickly produced a chemical effect, and a raging fire broke out in an instant, burning these materials. For a time, Sunagakyo's logistical transport unit was in flames, and the surrounding alarm became louder and louder, and from time to time, people from Sunagakyo were calling, "Ah, the supplies are on fire. Hurry up and put out the fire. Enemy attack. There are enemies. Come here quickly, put out the fire. There are enemies. Hurry up and come." There was a lot of noise outside the tent, and Luo Sha, who was resting, was quickly disturbed. Luo Sha was the captain, and this mission was very important, so he slept very lightly. Chapter 80. When he woke up, he vaguely heard chaotic sounds of enemy attacks and fires coming from outside, and Luo Sha's heart immediately raised to his voice. Sure enough, what he was most worried about still happened. Luo Sha quickly got up and rushed outside the tent, but soon, someone from outside rushed in to report the situation to him. "What's going on outside?" Luo Sha asked Sand Shinobi, who came in with a gloomy face. "Lord Luo Sha, there is an enemy. The enemy attacked and also burned our materials." The face of Sand Shinobi, who entered this door, was full of panic. Materials were burned. After Luo Sha heard this, his anger gradually rose, and his face was even more gloomy and terrifying. Who was the other party? The Sand Shinobi didn't dare to delay, and replied quickly, "The people of Konoha." He saw the forehead protectors with the Konoha Shinobi logo on the foreheads of the attackers, so he was sure that they were from the Konoha Shinobi village. Konoha. After hearing that it was the Konoha Shinobi who came to attack them, Luo Sha gritted his teeth, his face full of anger. Suddenly, Luo Sha suddenly thought of something, gritted her teeth and asked, "What are the people who were sent out to investigate? Why did the people from Konoha sneak up on them but didn't report it?" Hearing Luo Sha's question, the name Sand Shinobi couldn't help but turn pale and said in a trembling voice, "All the people we were stalking didn't report back. Maybe they were already killed by Konoha's people. Hateful." Then, Luo Sha quickly rushed out of the tent. "Damn Konoha Shinobi. Tonight he will leave all these Konoha people to be buried with him." Lin's eyes lit up when she saw Kyosuke set the fire like this. Then she followed suit and found 27 barrels of oil, poured it on the surrounding materials, and then set a torch and set it on fire. "Lin, well done." Kyosuke was very pleased after seeing Lin's flamboyant arson operation and couldn't help giving Lin a thumbs up. Being praised by Kyosuke like this, Lin felt a little embarrassed and stuck her tongue out at Kyosuke. At this time, Sand Shinobi, who had already reacted long ago, rushed over with a large group of people and killed Kyosuke and the others. "Damn little devil, it's all your good deeds. Our supplies. Come on, let's kill these two brats together." A large group of Sand Shinobi swarmed, ready to kill Kyosuke and Rin. You must know that it is their precious material, and it is related to this battle with Konoha. Now that most of them have been burned by Kyosuke and the others, how can they not be angry? Moreover, Kyosuke and others also killed many of their companions. Therefore, these Sand Shinobi who rushed towards Kyosuke and Rin with evil spirits, their eyes were full of red, and they were extremely angry. Seeing so many people killed, Lin Zhao's face, who had never seen such a big battle, couldn't help but turn white. "Lin, don't be afraid. You continue to do what you need to do, and I will help you block it." Kyosuke turned his back to Rin, facing the many Sand Shinobi who came over and said solemnly. Lin looked at Kyosuke's back, inexplicably relieved a lot, and was no longer so afraid. Immediately Lin nodded. "Understood, Kyosuke-kun, but you have to be careful." Lin has unconditional trust in Kyosuke. With her mind stabilized, Lin no longer hesitated. Looking at the supplies in front of her, she picked up the oil in her hand and poured it on it quickly, then skillfully set off a fire. "Damn, stop me." 35 Seeing that Lin continued to destroy and burn their supplies, Sand Shinobi couldn't stand it any longer, and some people just killed Lin directly. "I can't let you go." Kyosuke's eyes narrowed, and his aura slowly rose. 8 inner gates. The first door is open. The second gate is closed. Open. The third gate. Open. 35 Kyosuke directly opened the front third gate of the 8 inner gates, and suddenly, his body exuded green arrogance, and he felt the incomparably vigorous power in his body. Tempest Kick. Seeing those Sand Shinobi rushing towards Rin, Kyosuke waved directly under his feet without thinking, and launched a few Tempest Kicks to go away. "Abaj." The screams came from there. Obviously, after eating Kyosuke's Tempest Kicks, the Sand Shinobi would be disabled even if they didn't die. The two Konoha Jonins not far away were shocked when they saw Kyosuke exuding green arrogance. Is this the true power of Black Fang? Powerful. This fierce attack by Kyosuke temporarily stunned Sand Shinobi, who was present, and they looked at Kyosuke with fear in their eyes. They did not expect that although this child is young, his strength is very strong. At this time, one Sand Shinobi recognized Kyosuke coming. He pointed at Kyosuke. His eyes trembled with fear, and said, He is Black Fang. Black Fangs. Is that the kid in front of you? Sand Shinobi, who was present, was a little dumbfounded when he heard it. They have heard of Black Fang. It is Uchiha Kyosuke, and they know that he is a child with very good individual skills. However, they did not expect it to be the child in front of them. Then, their eyes were full of anger. It was this kid in front of him who brutally slaughtered many of their companions. I didn't expect you to be Uchiha Kyosuke. 35. Since you are not afraid of dying and dare to come here, then let me stay. We have to decide your life. Just come to pay homage to our companions. Go. Kill this kid. After speaking, these Sand Shinobi had angry and excited expressions on their faces and rushed towards Kyosuke without fear of death. Looking at Sand Shinobi, who was blinded by hatred and murder in front of him, Kyosuke couldn't help shaking his head, really unafraid. However, in the face of this group of menacing Sand Shinobi, Kyosuke was not afraid at all, but a slight smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Do you want to dance? Dancing? You die for Lao Tzu. A Sand Shinobi rushed up first, holding a long sword and slashing towards Kyosuke. Paper arts. Kyosuke's body felt the air current of the long knife slashing, and when the long knife fell and was about to slash at him, Kyosuke turned slightly sideways and avoided him. Then, Kyosuke made a quick shot, flowing water rock shattering fist. Immediately afterwards, Kyosuke punched quickly and smoothly, with aqua blue slings wrapped around his fist, directly smashing Sand Shinobi's head. Thump. Sand Shinobi's body without the head fell directly to the ground. Unarmed headshots. Kyosuke's method is bloody, but also very shocking. Sure enough, seeing Kyosuke smashing his companion's head with a punch, the Sand Shinobi who rushed forward suddenly stopped their rushing steps at this moment. There was fear on their faces. This guy. The means are so bloody. Looking at Sand Shinobi who didn't dare to kill him in fear, Kyosuke smiled. What? Don't dare to come? That's not enough. Next, I'll let you all feel the dance. After saying that, Kyosuke's figure disappeared from the spot in an instant. Shaved. 35 panic began to spread among the group of Sand Shinobi, and at this moment, they truly realized the horror of Black Fang. The fangs exposed in the dark will slowly harvest their lives away. Puff. The figure of Kyosuke suddenly appeared in front of a Sand Shinobi, and the kunai in his hand stabbed directly into his heart. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a chunin and gets 30 quest points. This crisp notification from the system came from Kyosuke's mind, and it also marked that the chunin had been taken away by Shinigami. Black Fang is here. Go. Let's go together. Don't be afraid. Kill him. 39 Go. Kill him. This group of Sand Shinobi seems to smell the breath of Shinigami and decide to die and live. At this moment, they all seem to have forgotten the fear in their hearts, and they went straight to Kyosuke with all their might. At this moment, Kyosuke's eyes were filled with excitement. Have you decided to go all out? Yes. The harder the fish struggles, the more interesting it is. Go to hell. Black Fang. Sand Shinobi, who had already killed him, stabbed Kyosuke in the back with a sharp kunai in his hand. Got it. Seeing that he had stabbed Kyosuke, Sand Shinobi couldn't help but feel happy. 433 touch. Unexpectedly stabbed in. At this moment, the kunai in Sand Shinobi's hand seemed to have stabbed the extremely hard iron body and made a crisp collision sound. Is it armor? No. What the hell is this? This Sand Shinobi cried out as if he had seen a ghost, looking at the appearance of Kyosuke's back, covered with armament haki and turning black. After being stabbed in the back by Sand Shinobi, Kyosuke's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Court death. Kyosuke turned around quickly. The cold light flashed in his hand, and he quickly waved back. The name Sand Shinobi had fear in his eyes, and he leaned back to avoid it, but he was slow in the end, and he could only watch Kyosuke's hand draw directly towards kunai. AB with a scream. Kyosuke slashed directly into Sand Shinobi's eyes. The sneak attacked Sand Shinobi was blinded in both eyes, and his combat power was greatly reduced, and Kyosuke ended him effortlessly. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a jonin and gets 100 quest points. Next, Kyosuke didn't stop and went straight into the group of Sand Shinobi. Armed hardening. Wolf Fong Fing Finquin. 35 The fist wind burst, turned into dozens of wolves, and rushed directly to Sand Shinobi and the others. And Kaiosuk rushed into this group of Sand Shinobi, like a lone wolf entering the flock. These weak flocks have no resistance at all. This is a one-sided battle, and even more one-sided slaughter. What AB and Sand Shinobi? A tragic sound came from the connection. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a Jonin and gets 100 quest points. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a Jonin and gets 100 quest points. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a Chunin and gets 30 quest points. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a Genin and gets 10 mission points. The system's clear prompting sound kept ringing in his mind. After Kaiosuk heard it, his eyes became more and more red, and his attack became more and more sharp and ruthless. Harvest. Chapter 81. In front of this group of Sand Shinobi, who are as weak as sheep, in Kaiosuk's eyes, they are just a handful of leeks, allowing them to harvest. At this moment, Kaiosuk turned into a god of killing, directly showing his sharp fangs and slaughtering to his heart's content. Seeing this, the surrounding Sand Shinobi were all heartbroken. At this moment, the ninja of Sunagakure refreshed the cognition of the name of Black Fong, Uchiha Kyosuke again. Stop! There was a roar of rage and anger not far away. It's Rosa. When Rosa in the distance saw Kyosuke mercilessly slaughtering his comrades, he was furious. An unprecedented anger rose from the bottom of my heart. Luo Sha, who was already burning with raging anger in his heart, under his rage, quickly shot without thinking, magnet-style, gold dust spear. The gold dust around Luo Sha condensed into a sharp drill bit and flew towards Kyosuke at high speed. Kyosuke, who was in the midst of killing, suddenly frowned, and he keenly felt that something was rushing towards him behind him. A dangerous breath. Kyosuke didn't dare to hold his hand, and after he stopped, he cautiously and quickly dodged. Shave. Kyosuke's figure disappeared instantly. The next moment, there was a loud bang from Kyosuke's position just now. Several incomparably hard gold dust spears landed under Kyosuke's position just now and plunged directly into the ground, and the sand and stones splashed. At this moment, Kyosuke's figure suddenly appeared from the other side. When Kyosuke saw that the place where he was standing was severely penetrated by the gold dust spear, his face rarely showed seriousness. This power is not ordinary. Moreover, Kyosuke could see at a glance that those spears were definitely not made of ordinary sand. The spear seemed to be made of gold dust. Gold dust. Thinking of this, Kyosuke couldn't help squinting. If Kyosuke Toda didn't directly avoid him just now, he would be seriously injured even if he didn't die. Kyosuke knew that the person who attacked him just now was very strong, not weaker than himself. Looks like a great guy has come. As a result, Kyosuke looked in the direction of the attack of the gold dust spears just now, and saw a young man with short brown hair not far away. After seeing that person's appearance, Kyosuke couldn't help but frown. Luo Sha, it's him. The reason why Kyosuke recognized that person was Luo Sha was because the young man's appearance was 70 to 80% similar to Gaara who grew up. In addition, this person will control the gold dust, so his identity is more certain. Because of Luo Sha's arrival, Kyosuke's slaughter had to stop temporarily. Looking at the few sand shinobi left by fluke not far away, Kyosuke shook his head and said to himself, pity. However, just now he hunted down 3 Jonin. There were many Chunin Genins, and he gained more than 500 quest points, so that's fine. At this moment, Luo Sha came over and watched his companions fall into a pool of blood. The expression on his face became more and more gloomy and terrifying. The few sand shinobi who survived by chance were relieved when they saw Rosa rushing over, and they hurriedly ran to Rosa's side. Lord Luo Sha, you are finally here. Lord Luo Sha, this person is a devil. He's not a person at all. He's Black Fong, Uchiha Kyosuke, Lord Rosa, must kill him. Damn, he also burned a lot of our supplies. The arrival of Luo Sha, these sand shinobi seem to have seen their own backbone and all surrounded them. Is this man Black Fong? The one who is rumored to have killed many of his companions. What's more hateful is that Luo Sha also heard his subordinates say that Kyosuke destroyed their supplies. You must know that this material is related to the next battle with Konoha. All the supplies have been burned. So how did Sunagakure fight against Konoha? Thinking of this, Luo Sha looked in Kyosuke's direction, clenched his front teeth, and the anger in his eyes grew even stronger. If eyes can kill, then Kyosuke has been killed by Luo Sha many times. Well, Luo Sha is here, It's a bit difficult to handle now. 35 Luo Sha looked at Kaiosuk, and Kaiosuk was also looking at him. You know, Luo Sha's blood follows the boundaries of magnet-style purple gold, but it is very difficult to deal with. Moreover, at this time Kaiosuk and the others are not tasked with solving these sand shinobi. It is their main task to completely destroy Sunagakure's logistics supplies. Thinking of this, Kaiosuk decided not to have too much entanglement with Luo Sha, who was quite troublesome in front of him. Main task. Kaiosuk shot the kunai in his hand at Luo Sha and started to move. He can't be too obsessed with fighting anymore. He must finish the task first. How could I let you go? Seeing that Kaiosuk was about to leave, Luo Sha dodged the kunai that shot at him and shouted, "Magnet style, sand gold waves." From Luo Sha, a large amount of gold dust was instantly rushing towards Kaiosuk. Seeing the majestic gold dust rushing towards him, Kaiosuk was afraid. He didn't stop to face it directly, but his figure dodged more and more quickly. Kaiosuk knew that if he was entangled in this gold dust, he would definitely be unable to escape for a while. So, Kaiosuk decided to dodge it first. Kaiosuk dodged deliberately, but the gold dust behind him chased Kaiosuk like a gangrene. Rao is that Kaiosuk has decided not to confront Luo Sha head-on, but Kaiosuk feels aggrieved for this behavior of constantly chasing up to bully him. Who would have thought that his blindly regressing would only fuel the prestige of others? Kaiosuk, he couldn't stand it. Really, he's him. I really thought I was afraid that he wouldn't succeed. Just when Kaiosuk angrily decided to stop and clean up Luo Sha, there was a change in Luo Sha. Before, when Luo Sha saw Kaiosuk, he only knew that he kept dodging. Black Fang's Uchiha Kyosuke, one of their Sunagakure's most hated people, Luo Sha also knows that Chiyo-sama has issued an order for this. If you meet Uchiha Kyosuke on the battlefield, kill him first. Luo Sha has decided, and now he will deal with this hateful Black Fang here. Just when Luo Sha was thinking like this, suddenly, a cold spot appeared on his left side. There are hidden weapons. Luo Sha, who was secretly vigilant and guarded, soon noticed that a kunai was shooting towards him quickly. Luo Sha sneered at the corner of his mouth, and while controlling the gold dust to continue attacking Kyosuke, his body was slightly sideways, avoiding the flying shot of kunai. The kunai from the flying shot passed close to Luo Sha's body, but the next moment, Luo Sha's body suddenly froze. He vaguely sensed the danger of this suffering. This is definitely not an ordinary kunai. In an instant, Luo Sha's face changed greatly. After that, Luo Sha couldn't take care of Kyosuke anymore, and immediately stopped the attack, and immediately started to enter the state of defense. And at this moment, the Kuwa who flew close to Luo Sha suddenly appeared a figure. That person? It was Namikaze Minato. At this time, Namikaze Minato had already deceived Luo Sha, and he had already prepared a faint blue sphere in his hand. Rasengan. Namikaze Minato, who appeared behind Rakshasa, directly pressed Rasengan to Rakshasa. If Namikaze Minato's attack hits Luo Sha, then Luo Sha must be seriously injured. At this time, Luo Sha also fully demonstrated his strength close to Kage level. At this critical moment, Luo Sha did not seem panic at all. Magnet style, Aventurin shield. Soon, the surrounding gold dust quickly formed a gold dust shield on Luo Sha's back, blocking Namikaze Minato in front of him. At the same time, Luo Sha also stepped back very vigilantly. Boom. The Rasengan in Namikaze Minato's hand directly hit the gold dust shield, and the huge impact force of Rasengan directly knocked off the gold dust shield, and the dust gold splashed all over the place. And Luo Sha also relied on the blocking gap of the gold dust shield to withdraw safely. Luo Sha, who was dodging to one side, looked at the yellow-haired man who appeared in front of him, his face a little ugly. Namikaze Minato, it was you. Luo Sha has seen Namikaze Minato, and besides, the Flying Thunder God technique just now, not everyone can perform. After seeing Namikaze Minato, Luo Sha remembered why the people who were stalking Sand Shinobi couldn't find Konoha sneaked in. It turned out to be the ghost of this Namikaze Minato in front of me. Damn. If you dare to come here, then you will never be spared. Luo Sha stared at Namikaze Minato. In his opinion, the reason why Kyosuke and others were able to break through their defense so easily must be the masterpiece of Namikaze Minato. Kyosuke, he's up to me to deal with. At this time, Namikaze Minato faced Luo Sha with a serious face towards Kyosuke. Luo Sha's strength is close to the shadow level. Although Namikaze Minato's strength is also close to Kage level, it is still very difficult to completely suppress Luo Sha. According to Kyosuke's original plan, Luo Sha was handed over to Namikaze Minato to handle, and Namikaze Minato held Luo Sha, and Kyosuke and the others went to meet Sunagekir's logistical supplies. Kyosuke, who was originally angry, wanted to fight Luo Sha, but seeing that Namake's Minato had restrained Luo Sha, Kyosuke had no choice but to give up. It's just that Namake's Minato destroyed Sunagekir's supplies so quickly, Kyosuke was somewhat surprised, and he didn't think much about it after that. With Namake's Minato restraining Luo Sha, Kyosuke has no worries, and then he decides to burn all Sunagekir's materials to death. Nothing left for Sunagekir and them. Kyosuke did what he said, and immediately found several large barrels of fuel. Whenever he saw that it was a material, he poured the fuel on it, and then picked up the torch and lit it. Although many sand shinobi came to stop, how could they stop Kyosuke? A raging fire, burning violently on the Sunagekir station. The flames are soaring. When Sunagekir's supplies were almost set on fire, Kyosuke stopped. Looking around at this time, all around Sunagekir's station ground was surrounded by fire, and the sounds of fighting and fighting fires and saving people were ups and downs, and it was very chaotic. Kyosuke, who had destroyed Sunagekir's supplies, wanted to join Rin and the others. Chapter 82. The task of destroying the Sunagekir supplies was completed. At this time, they couldn't stay too long, otherwise, the nearly 100 sand shinobi were not vegetarian. But this time, Kyosuke was a little embarrassed. Just now, he started killing people and setting fires on a whim, but he didn't pay much attention to Lin and the others. Now, Kyosuke, he found out, he can't find Lin anymore. Now it's a bit of a hassle. Without Kyosuke watching, Rin didn't know if Lin was safe. So, Kyosuke didn't have time to take care of others, and started looking for Chilin and the others around, back in time when Kyosuke was rising up with murder and arson. At this time, Rin and the two Konoha Jonin were busy destroying Sunagekir supplies, following Kyosuke's appearance, when a lot of sand shinobi came over. Damn! Stop it, you guys. Can't stop? Go. Kill them. Without Kyosuke's obstruction, the sand shinobi killed Rin and the other three without hesitation. There was no way. Rin and the two Konoha Jonin had to stop and face sand shinobi who came forward. At the beginning, Lin and the others could barely resist these sand shinobi, but as more and more sand shinobi arrived, it was not something they could handle. Ants kill elephants. What's more, because Lin and the others destroyed Sunagekir's precious supplies, these sand shinobi have long been full of anger and murderous intent. Just when Rin and the others were about to hold on, Obito and Kakashi finally came over not far away. Obito, who came over, saw that Lin was in danger. How could he stay calm? And his heart was immediately confused. Obito, whose heart is tightly tied to the beautiful, lovely, and kind-hearted Rin, even though Rin's attitude towards him was cold before, and her words hurt Obito's heart, but Obito didn't have the slightest dissatisfaction or hatred for Lin. Let you torture me 1,000 times. I still love you as always. Let you torture me 1,000 times. I swear to be with you forever. This is Obito's true dog-licking mentality. Lin, hold on. I'm here. When it was difficult to see his goddess, Obito couldn't care less and rushed over quickly. And Sand Shinobi saw Obito, Kakashi, and others come to support. Originally, they were a little angry with Rin and the three who couldn't be attacked for a long time. At this time, the people who saw Konoha again came over. How could the angry Sand Shinobi let Rin and the others go? Chapter 84. One shot. Never let them go. Kill them now. Sand Shinobi's eyes were full of killing intent, and he became more and more cruel and ruthless. Originally, Lin's strength was at the level of Chunin, and she was an auxiliary medical ninja in the team, although after Kyosuke's teaching, Lin's strength became stronger. However, she persisted until she reached her limit now. At this time, Sand Shinobi beat the killer more ruthlessly. How could Lin be able to resist? Suddenly, a ferocious-looking Sand Shinobi approached Lin with a ninja knife in his hand, and then he raised his incomparably sharp ninja knife and slashed heavily at Lin's snow-white neck. Kami, kid? The sharp ninja knife did nothing to stop it, and soon it was about to slash at Lin's neck. Seeing that the sharp ninja sword reflecting the fire was about to fall on her body, Lin also gave up her last struggle at this time. Everything is coming to an end. At this moment, Lin showed a poignant smile. Goodbye, Kyosuke. I may be dead. Kyosuke-kun, I'm really sad. I'm dead. That's fine. Red doesn't have to worry about me occupying Kyosuke-kun anymore. So, Lin gradually closed her beautiful eyes. Obito, who tried his best to get over, was a step too late. When Obito saw that the incomparably sharp ninja knife was about to fall on Lin's neck, at this moment, Obito roared in anger. Intense sadness erupted uncontrollably in an instant, stimulating Obito's eyes at the same time. Gradually, Obito's eyes began to turn red, and the shape of Tomo appeared above and below the pupils. This is the Sharingan double Tomo form. Obito actually opened his eyes in this situation. However, even though Obito has opened the Sharingan double Tomo, he can only watch the extremely sharp ninja knife fall on Lin. Not far away, Namake's Minato heard Obito's roar and looked over. Namake's Minato's pupil shrank when Namake's Minato saw Sand Shinobi swinging his ninja sword down heavily towards Rin. Without even thinking about it, Namake's Minato immediately pulled away and rushed in Rin's direction. Rin is his student. Namake's Minato, as her teacher, has the responsibility and obligation to protect Rin's life and safety. Namake's Minato wants to save, but how could I let you go? Seeing that Namake's Minato wanted to go to save Lin, how could Luo Sha let Namake's Minato go? And immediately stepped forward to intercept Namake's Minato. Magnet style, gold realm law. 35 The next moment, countless sharp gold dust like the tips of bamboo shoots rushed towards Namake's Minato. Being blocked by Luo Sha, Namake's Minato had to stop and face these intractable bamboo shoots. If Namake's Minato is not careful, the gold dust will run through his body. At this moment, Namake's Minato is extremely anxious, but being so entangled by Luo Sha, he has missed the best time to save Rin. Lin, I'm afraid something is going to happen. Thinking of this, Namake's Minato's face paled. Not far away, Kakashi and several Konoha Jonin saw that Lin's side was deeply in crisis, and it was almost impossible to save Lin. Immediately, Kakashi's heart sank. It's over. Namake's Minato, Kakashi, Obito, and others are completely desperate. Lin also closed her eyes in a poignant and beautiful way long ago. The world seems to be at peace at this moment. In this still world, a ghostly figure rushed out at lightning speed. Lin closed her eyes and calmly waited for the next fate, but after waiting for a long time, Lin couldn't feel the pain that the sharp blade hurt. Unable to help, Lin slowly opened her beautiful eyes. The ninja sword in front of me was still so sharp, CHFB, but it didn't fall down, and there was a dark hand holding the ninja sword tightly. How can there be black hands? Also, you are not dead. Has anyone been rescued? A series of questions appeared in Lin's mind, making her a little puzzled. However, Lin knew that she was not dead, but was rescued. Who saved you? It must be the one with the sharp blade. Seeing that strange dark hand clutching the sharp ninja knife tightly, Lin couldn't help but feel extremely at ease. Looking down, a familiar figure appeared in Lin's eyes. Kyosuke. Seeing Kyosuke in front of her, Rin exclaimed in surprise. Turns out it was Kyosuke who saved himself. Great. I don't have to leave Kyosuke anymore. It feels so good to be alive. Seeing Kyosuke, Rin's heart was filled with joy, and all the despair waiting for death just now disappeared. Looking at Rin in front of him, Kyosuke, who had lingering fears, forced himself to smile and said to Rin, Lin, are you hurt? Just now, just when the ninja sword was about to fall on Rin, at this critical moment, Kyosuke finally arrived. Recalling the scene just now, Kyosuke was still in a state of shock, sweating, and the clothes on his back were already soaked. If something really happened to Rin, then Kyosuke would really feel guilty for the rest of his life. Fortunately, I saved Lin by myself. This treasure girl died without incense. Lin looked at Kyosuke and felt Kyosuke's eyes were full of concern, love, fear, and self-blame. It turns out that Kyosuke really cares about me. Thinking of this, Lin couldn't help but feel sweet. It's okay, Kyosuke, you don't have to worry. 35 Kyosuke nodded. Lin, you stay here and leave the rest to me. After Kyosuke finished telling Lin, he raised his head and slowly looked towards Sand Shinobi. There was no emotion in his eyes. It was terrifyingly cold. Chapter 85. Fiery. If I was just one step late, Lin must have had an accident. None of these Sand Shinobi can stay. Damn. 99. The ninja sword in his hand was caught empty-handed by Kyosuke in front of him, and this Sand Shinobi gritted his teeth and prepared to pull it out. However, what surprised him was that no matter how hard he tried, Kyosuke held onto the ninja sword firmly. You must know that the blade of the ninja knife is extremely sharp, and he wants to pull it out with great effort. However, Kyosuke held onto it with his hands alone, and he didn't get cut at all, which was a bit pervert. No matter how hard Sand Shinobi tried, the ninja knife seemed to be welded to Kyosuke's hands, and Sand Shinobi couldn't help swallowing. Seeing the frosty color in Kyosuke's eyes, Sand Shinobi's forehead was already dripping with sweat. This is Black Fangs, the butcher who kills without blinking an eye. Crack. Kyosuke squeezed the ninja sword tightly, and with a crisp cracking sound, the ninja sword was directly broken by Kyosuke. Hand a blade and broken? This? Sand Shinobi's pupils tightened, and then, Kyosuke held the broken blade in his hand and swiped his backhand against his throat. Ho ho! Although Sand Shinobi pressed his throat hard, blood spewed out from Sand Shinobi's neck very quickly. Looking at Sand Shinobi's horrified expression of pain, Kyosuke's eyes were cold. If it wasn't for the fact that Rin was still here, Kyosuke would have been ready to tear him apart. After dealing with the Sand Shinobi, Kyosuke raised his head to look at the Sand Shinobi in front of him, and the Sand Shinobi took a few steps back in fright under the glances with no emotion at all. You guys, damn it. After Kyosuke spoke, he walked towards Sand Shinobi like a ghost. Armed hardened, Tempest Kick, Profound Truth, Rock Fragment. When Kyosuke entered Sand Shinobi, the mad carnage began. What? Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Kyosuke, who had already slaughtered Sand Shinobi, turned into a killing machine at this moment, mercilessly reaping his life. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a chunin and gets 30 quest points. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a genin and gets 10 mission points. The crisp notification sound of the system kept ringing in Kyosuke's mind. At this time, Kyosuke's eyes were red. Chapter 83. Obito, Kakashi and the others who rushed over, watching Kyosuke, who was incarnated as Shinigami and harvesting Sand Shinobi frantically, swallowed. Is this the power of Kyosuke? In the Sand Shinobi crowd, like entering no man's land, slaughter like crazy, powerful, really too strong. On the other hand, Namikaze Minato breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that Kyosuke had rescued Rin in the nick of time. Fortunately, Kyosuke came over, followed by Namikaze Minato no longer dared to be too distracted, and confronted with a serious look in his eyes Luo Sha. Luo Sha's blood following the limit of magnet-style purple gold makes Namikaze Minato have to pay attention to it. He almost injured Namikaze Minato several times just now. Fortunately, Namikaze Minato escaped with the Flying Thunder God. At this time, Rosa saw Kyosuke slaughtering his subordinates, and Sand Shinobi cried out in grief. In an instant, Luo Sha's chest was filled with anger, and his eyes were splitting. Boy, how dare you! I'll kill you right now. After roaring, Luo Sha abandoned Namikaze Minato and rushed directly to Kyosuke, who was slaughtering his subordinates. However, before Luo Sha rushes over, Namikaze Minato's instant technique is immediately blocked in front of Luo Sha. When Namikaze Minato wanted to save Lin just now, Luo Sha stepped forward to stop him. Now, seeing Luo Sha trying to save his subordinates, how can Namikaze Minato make him wish? Rasengan. Namikaze Minato, who appeared in front of Luo Sha, held Rasengan in his hand and attacked Luo Sha. At this time, Luo Sha, who wanted to stop Kyosuke from saving his companion, was unintentionally fighting, and saw Namikaze Minato blocking him, with a ferocious expression on his face. Go away. Magnet style, Gold Dust Spear. 35 The spear formed of gold dust collided with Rasengan, and suddenly made a loud noise. Boom. Taking advantage of this time, Namikaze Minato directly shot the kunai engraved with the spell at Luo Sha. Luo Sha had just played against Namikaze Minato, and he had already figured out Namikaze Minato's attack method. Therefore, although he was extremely anxious, he didn't dare to care about it. So he had to use the body flicker technique to dodge the kunai that flew over quickly. Not only that, but Luo Sha must keep a distance from Namikaze Minato. If Namikaze Minato gets close, he's in danger. The road ahead is blocked by Namikaze Minato. If Luo Sha wants to support his subordinates, he must first get rid of Namikaze Minato, who is entangled in front of him. But Namikaze Minato has almost Kaga-level strength. How could he be defeated in a short time? At Kyosuke, Kakashi, and several Konoha Jonin came to support, and Sand Shinobi was even more defeated. The wailing and miserable voices were continuously sent from Sand Shinobi's mouth and reached Luo Sha's ears. The companions were mercilessly killed by the Black Fangs. Uchiha Kyosuke. The surrounding area was even more blazing, and all the battlefield materials were burned. At this moment, Luo Sha's eyes were red with blood, and he looked at everything in front of him with a dull expression. Done. Completely finished. The materials prepared for the war with Konoha are gone. So will Sand Shinobi Village dare to fight Konoha next? What to use to support Sand Shinobi logistics? What confidence do you have to start a war with Konoha? At this moment, Luo Sha's heart was bleeding. Following him, Luo Sha, whose eyes were full of blood red, gritted his teeth and looked at Namikaze Minato, who was standing in front of him, and Kaiosuk, who was wantonly killing all directions not far away. Luo Sha's heart was full of anger. Damn it! You Konoha people should be damned. Namikaze Minato, damn you. And that Black Fong, you all be damned. Luo Sha roared with almost all his strength, and then, Luo Sha shot. Magnet style. Gold dust burial. The gold dust around Luo Sha was continuously injected into the ground, and then the ground began to vibrate. The ninjutsu launched by Luo Sha is very powerful, and it seems that the power is definitely very powerful. Namikaze Minato was not far in front of Luo Sha, so he could feel the extraordinary power of this ninjutsu. So, Namikaze Minato's face couldn't help changing at this time, and then he shouted in the direction of Kaiosuk Kakashi and the others. Kaiosuk, get out of here quickly. They have basically destroyed Sand Shinobi's supplies. Not only that, but also killed a lot of Sand Shinobi. It can be said that this mission, Kaiosuk and his team have been successfully completed. Now that the mission has been completed, it is not time to fight. After all, compared with Sand Shinobi's number, they are 10 times different. And at this time, the powerful power of this ninjutsu launched by Luo Sha is also showing more and more. Here at Namikaze Minato, and at Kaiosuk Kakashi's side, the ground suddenly shattered, and then a large amount of sand mixed with gold sand began to surround Kaiosuk and the others. Looking at this battle, it was clear that Kaiosuk and the others were going to be buried alive. And Kaiosuk, seeing this, had to stop. The golden sand burial is no joke. If he was really trapped inside, Kaiosuk wouldn't be sure to rush out. Moreover, gold sand is more powerful than sand, and it also has the effect of sealing. If it is really sealed inside, it is basically finished. Ding. System prompt. Host hunts a Chunin and gets 30 quest points. After finishing Sand Shinobi in front of him, Kaiosuk didn't dare to delay any longer. Shave. 99 Kaiosuk came to Rin's face, picked up Rin directly, and was about to run away. Kaiosuk-kun. Rin, who was hugged so closely by Kaiosuk, was embarrassed. This was the first time Rin had such intimate contact with Kaiosuk, and she was stunned for a while, and let Kaiosuk handle it. Although Rin exuded a good body fragrance and felt good to the touch, Kaiosuk didn't have the heart to put it here at this time. There will be opportunities in the future, but now is not the time. On the other side, at Kakashi and Obito, when they saw gold dust rushing towards them, the scale was simply not something they could handle. They have to quickly escape from this encirclement. If they don't hurry, they won't even have the chance to escape. How could I let you go? Not far away, Luo Sha saw that Kaiosuk was about to run away. He clenched his teeth and clenched his hand tightly. Buy them all here. After Luo Sha finished speaking, the speed of chasing after the golden sand surrounding Kaiosuk increased a lot, and rushed towards Kaiosuk in an extremely turbulent manner. To say who Luo Sha hated the most at this time, Kaiosuk definitely ranked first, followed by Namikaze Minato. Kaiosuk slaughtered many of his subordinates in front of Luo Sha, and Luo Sha alone saw 3 Jonin Sand Shinobi die at Kaiosuk's hands. As for Chunin and Genin, more. 4 flowers. At this time, Kakashi, Obito, and others, Luo Sha, can ignore him, but Kaiosuk, Luo Sha decides to get rid of him here. Troublesome. Kaiosuk couldn't help frowning when he saw the gold dust like maggots sticking behind him. It's really like a dog skin plaster. It's really difficult to deal with. Kyo, Kaiosuk-kun, you can actually let me down. In that case, you can too. At this time, Lin, who was held in Kaiosuk's arms, had come to her senses. Seeing that the situation was in danger, she lay down in Kaiosuk's arms and said softly. In Rin's opinion, it was mainly her that dragged down Kaiosuk. If Kaiosuk puts her down, without her burden, Kaiosuk can definitely escape. Kaiosuk couldn't help but feel excited. Lin, this little girl, I don't see it on weekdays. She doesn't show the mountains and the water. Ah, Kaiosuk suddenly came to her private place like this, and Lin couldn't help being stunned. No wonder Kaiosuk would treat her like this. After reacting, Lin couldn't help but spat, and immediately her red face was buried in Kaiosuk's arms again, not daring to make a sound. In her heart, Rin, who was already shy and unable to do so, was not complaining about Kaiosuk. Kaiosuk-kun is also true. That's a girl's. How can you treat her like this? After hitting Lin, Kaiosuk's mind couldn't help but sway for a while, but Kaiosuk quickly came back to his senses. At this moment, Kaiosuk grinned and said to Lin in a bit of annoyance, Lin, do you dare to say that? Lin, this little girl, actually wanted Kaiosuk to abandon her and let Kaiosuk run away alone. Is this something humans can do? So, Kaiosuk subconsciously wanted to teach Rin a lesson. However, it seems that Kaiosuk's method of teaching this lesson is somewhat nasty. Seeing Rin lying in his arms and not daring to speak out, Kaiosuk nodded with satisfaction and felt the need to deepen his education to Rin. So, Kaiosuk's face was very serious, and he slapped Rin again. Kaiosuk and you? Lin, who was buried in Kaiosuk's arms, shyly said, You? Why are you here again? Lin, this time I'll teach you a lesson. Remember, you're not allowed to say such things in the future, you know? Kaiosuk spoke to Rin seriously. Lin, who was lying in Kaiosuk's arms, replied in a muffled voice. Kaiosuk treated her like this, but Lin felt that Kaiosuk cared about her very much, which made Lin's heart feel as sweet as honey. After teaching Lin, Kaiosuk's eyes became solemn as he looked at the gold dust that was getting closer and closer. Looks like it's going to speed up. Their Kakashi and Obito, looking at the approaching gold dust, are almost desperate. At their speed, even if they fought their lives to escape, they wouldn't be as fast as the surging gold dust. If nothing else next, they will soon be buried by gold dust. Thinking of this, Kakashi and Obito's faces turned ashen. Obito's face is sad. Lin, it seems that we can't be together after all. I have to go one step ahead. Kakashi's face was filled with despair and a little bit of relief. Chapter 84. At this time, Kakashi seemed to see his father Hatake Shigeru smiling at him. Kakashi's eyes blurred. Father, I will see you later. However, at this moment, the gold dust, like the turbulent sea water, slowed down and became less aggressive. Seeing this scene, Kakashi and Obito both breathed a sigh of relief as if they had saved their lives. But now is not the time for them to relax. Taking advantage of this opportunity, they also fled with all their strength, fleeing towards the place that their team had already negotiated. However, Kakashi and Obito, who were only concerned about escaping, didn't know that the reason why they survived the hardship and recovered a small life was actually thanks to Kaiosuk. Because Luosha, who was almost blinded by anger, would rather let others go, and vowed to bury Kaiosuk, the most abominable guy, here. No matter what we do, we must not let Uchiha Kyosuke come back alive. He must end the Black Fangs here. At this moment, Luosha had nothing else in his mind except the obsession to kill Kyosuke. Not only did Luosha kindly let Kakashi and Obito and the others go, but even Namake's Minato in front of him couldn't control much. Therefore, at this time, Namake's Minato poured 4-3-3 without any pressure. Facing the influx of gold dust, Namake's Minato, a flying thunder god, dodged to the side. At this time, Namake's Minato first looked at Obito, Kakashi, and the others, and he could not help but breathe a sigh of relief after finding that they had fled far away. In their squad, except for Rin, the two of them are weak, so Namake's Minato should be more careful. Fortunately, they were able to evacuate safely. Next, Namake's Minato looked towards Kyosuke. At this time, Kyosuke was holding Lin in his arms, and the speed was very fast. But the gold dust that was like a wave still followed Kyosuke and the others closely. Seeing this, Namake's Minato couldn't help frowning. He wanted to go up to help Kyosuke and the others, but if he went up like this, not only would he not be able to help, but it would hurt Kyosuke and the others. He can still attract Luosha's attention here, but if he rushes to Kyosuke and the others, it will be easier for Luosha to attack them all in one place. What's more, with Luosha blocking it, Namake's Minato would have a hard time getting past. Namake's Minato, he knows that although Kyosuke has strength not weaker than Elite Jonin, Luosha has almost Kaga-level strength. Faced with this formidable opponent, Namake's Minato did not feel that Kyosuke and Rin could escape from Rosa. Thinking of this, Namake's Minato immediately took action and made a seal in his hand. Shadow Clone Technique. 99 Boom. Boom. Next to Namake's Minato, two shadow clones appeared. Followed, Namake's Minato shouted at Kyosuke, Kyosuke-kun, I will restrain him, you have a chance to retreat with Lin. After finishing speaking, Namake's Minato held the kunai with the spell in his hand, and guided the other two shadow clones, attacking Luosha from 3 different directions respectively. At this time, Luosha saw Namake's Minato coming to block and couldn't help sneering. How could it be possible for you to succeed? Namake's Minato wants to contain himself and create opportunities for Uchiha Kyosuke to retreat, but how could Luosha let Kyosuke go? He has already decided that no matter what the cost, he must kill Uchiha Kyosuke here. Facing Namake's Minato attacking from 3 directions, Luosha narrowed his eyes slightly, and 3 tentacles formed of gold dust directly rolled over. At this time, Luo Sha wanted to see how Namake's Minato could stop himself. On the other side, Kaiosuk, who had opened the third gate, was at a slight disadvantage in the face of Luo Sha's attack. Hearing Namake's Minato's words, his heart couldn't help but move. Although Namake's Minato belongs to the Hokage faction, I have to say that this little son is very good and reliable. Since Namake's Minato said so, then Kaiosuk he has to wait for a suitable opportunity to exit this difficult situation. Kaiosuk knew that the harder he fought with Luo Sha, the more disadvantaged he would be. After all, Luo Sha's strength is close to Kage level, and Kaiosuk wants to compete with him, which is almost meaningless. The enemy is strong and I am weak, and we must avoid its edge. If the head is tough, it is a dead end. In the face of Luo Sha's attack, Namake's Minato avoided him in a hurry, and then he held an object in his hand and quickly hurled it towards Luo Sha. Facing Namake's Minato's attack, Luo Sha had a slight disdain on his face. Is this again? After many battles just now, Luo Sha was a little afraid of the elusive Namake's Minato, and at the same time, he also figured out the rules to some extent. Must not let Namake's Minato near him. Also, Namake's Minato's kunai shot by him is not an ordinary kunai. He is very threatening, and he has to keep his distance. Your move is useless for me, Namake's Minato. Seeing Namake's Minato shoot kunai at himself again, Luo Sha sneered. But then Luo Sha's expression changed involuntarily. No, this is not kunai. Looking at the shape of that thing, it is clearly a flash bomb. Fighting against Namake's Minato, Luo Sha subconsciously thought that Namake's Minato was attacking kunai again, but he didn't expect it to be an astigmatism. Flashbang. F number 7. Luo Sha was startled and immediately retreated to avoid it. However, the explosion range of the astigmatism bomb was too large, and Luo Sha's carelessness made it difficult to avoid it. Spiral Flash Super Wheel Dance and Roar 3 styles. The moment the astigmatism bomb exploded, a dazzling yellow electric light burst out. This yellow electric light was so dazzling in this battle that the surrounding sand shinobi couldn't help but close their eyes. At the same time, kunai, who had already cast out the Flying Thunder God technique, also appeared in this yellow electric light. The next moment, Namake's Minato's figure appeared, attacking Luo Sha, who was affected by the strong piercing light of the astigmatism bullet. Luo Sha's momentary negligence revealed this big flaw, and at this time he became the passive side. If you can't react quickly, you will be hit hard by Namake's Minato. Even, in this case, it is not impossible to be terminated by Namake's Minato. However, Luo Sha is a powerhouse close to Kage level strength after all, and at this critical moment, he has fully demonstrated his other powerful Kage level responsiveness. And because of being attacked by Namake's Minato, Luo Sha had to temporarily be unable to take care of Kaiosuk there. His own life has been threatened. If he is desperate to target Uchiha Kyosuke again, then he will really be courting death, and Luo Sha is still not crazy to that extent. Although, Luo Sha wanted to kill Kyosuke immediately. As a result, Luo Sha recalled most of the placer gold, and quickly formed a strong protective circle using the placer gold with itself as the center. Luo Sha's judgment was right, and just as his gold dust defense was forming, Namake's Minato's attack fell. Bump. Kong. 39 clang. 35 The shields formed by kunai and dust gold collided with each other and even sparked. Luo Sha, who was inside the gold dust shield, after hearing these crisp blows, a little cold sweat broke out from the back of his forehead. Fortunately, he used the placer gold to form a defensive cover at the first time. Otherwise, if he was attacked by Namake's Minato in the strong, dazzling yellow electric light of the flash bomb, he would definitely be seriously injured if he did not die. On the other side, Kyosuke there. When Kyosuke noticed that the flashbangs cast by Namake's Minato exploded into extremely dazzling yellow electric lights, he was overjoyed. This is the opportunity. Although the yellow electric light emitted by the astigmatism bomb was very dazzling, but Kyosuke was far away and was not affected much. On the contrary, in such a dangerous situation, Luo Sha, who was at close range, could no longer consider chasing and killing Kyosuke. So, this gave Kyosuke a chance to escape. At this moment, Kyosuke no longer hides his strength too much. So, the 8 inner gates had opened Kyosuke of the 3rd gate, and opened the prison of his body again. 8 inner gates 4th gate. Injury gate, open. Today, 8 inner gates Kyosuke can open to the 4th gate. Open the 8th inner gate's 4th gate injury door, which is the real sense of entering the 8 inner gate state. In this state, Kyosuke's attack and speed are further improved. At this moment, Kyosuke, who had opened the 4th gate of the 8 inner gates, suddenly burst out with a more terrifying aura than before. If Kyosuke's state was one just now, then Kyosuke's state is now more than double the strength of his previous state. Although Kyosuke couldn't do anything to Luo Sha at this time, he could still do it if he wanted to leave Luo Sha safely. Under his feet, Kyosuke flashed in a flash, and he was already out of Luo Sha's gold dust encirclement. In a few breaths, Kyosuke had completely distanced himself from Luo Sha, who was on the defensive. At this time, even if Luo Sha reacts, it is impossible to catch up with 5.1. In the distance, Kyosuke held Lin in his arms, and he didn't forget to turn around and say goodbye to Luo Sha. Father Gaara, I won't play with you for the time being. If there is a chance in the future, I don't mind your sons and daughters playing. Ha 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 ha. The yellow electric light caused by the astigmatism bombs came and went quickly. Luo Sha, who was in a defensive state, blocked Namake's Minato's attack. Just when he was secretly startled, he suddenly felt a powerful aura from Kyosuke in the distance without warning. He was a little surprised. Is it Uchiha Kyosuke? This kid just kept his hand? Before Uchiha Kyosuke showed his strength, Luo Sha took him seriously. So now, wouldn't it be more difficult to deal with? Hateful. Black Fong, Uchiha Kyosuke. Is he a monster? At this moment, many thoughts flashed in Luo Sha's mind. However, when he thought that Kyosuke destroyed their supplies and slaughtered their companions, Luo Xian's killing intent grew stronger. Regardless of whether you have retained strength or not, and no matter how far you can escape, Uchiha Kyosuke, Chiyo-sama is right, you are a great threat to Sunagakure, and you must be eliminated. Today. Chapter 85. However, just when Luo Sha was thinking about it, and was about to catch up, he heard the words Kyosuke said just now. Father Gaara, I won't play with you for the time being. If there is a chance in the future, I don't mind playing with your sons and daughters. When Luo Sha heard this, she was a little stunned. Gaara? Who? Don't mind playing with my son and daughter? Hearing this, Luo Sha's face became even more confused. He is not married yet. Where did he get his son and daughter? And just when Luo Sha was slightly stunned, and with Namake's Minato's block just now, Kyosuke, who opened the 8 inner gate's 4th gate in the distance, burst out at a speed comparable to lightning. After a while, Kyosuke's figure became more and more blurred in Luo Sha's eyes, almost disappearing into the night. Seeing this, Luo Sha was startled, couldn't help but get anxious, and hurriedly chased after him. This time, the war supplies he escorted Sunagakure had already been burned by Konoha's people. If they were all allowed to leave unharmed, where would he put Luo Sha's face? In particular, in order to kill Uchiha Kyosuke, Luo Sha almost let Kakashi Obito and others go. Now, even Namake's Minato, who is not far away, Luo Sha has not taken care of it. Luo Sha lost so much energy. If he let Uchiha Kyosuke escape from his hands again, Luo Sha felt that he would have no face to meet Chiyo-sama in the future. Don't think about running away, Uchiha Kyosuke. Thinking of this, the angry Luo Sha left Namake's Minato behind and pursued Kyosuke with all his strength. But if Kyosuke, who opened the 8 inner gate's 4th gate, if he wants to run away, how can Rosa catch up? So, the distance between the two is getting farther and farther. And Namake's Minato, who had fallen to one side, looked at Luo Sha, who was chasing in the direction of Kyosuke, and he was speechless. Luo Sha, your opponent is me. Is it bad to chase after Uchiha Kyosuke at this time? Rosa left him to chase Kyosuke, but Namake's Minato wasn't too worried about Kyosuke at this point. Not to mention that Kyosuke had already run away, it would be difficult for Luo Sha to catch up. Furthermore, just now Kyosuke opened the 8 inner gates and opened the 4th gate. Namake's Minato could see that with Kyosuke's current speed, if he wanted to get rid of Luo Sha, it would not be a problem at all. However, the sudden burst of momentum from Kyosuke just now surprised even Namake's Minato. It seems that he still underestimated Kyosuke's strength. Namake's Minato, you can't escape. Come on, let's hold him together. Don't let him escape, everyone. Let's restrain him together. And when Lord Luo Sha returns, he will be finished. At this moment, just as Namake's Minato was thinking about it, a large number of sand shinobi surrounded him. Konoha and the others escaped, and their leader Luo Sha went after Uchiha Kyosuke again. Now, there is only one Namake's Minato left here, so they can't let it go. Watching sand shinobi approaching slowly, Namake's Minato didn't want to fight too much and was ready to retreat. Now that their mission has been successfully completed, there is no need for him to compete too much with this group of sand shinobi. Kakashi Obito and the others had already fled first, and Kyosuke and Rin had also retreated smoothly, no accident, and Kyosuke and the others soon arrived at the prearranged place. Thinking of this, Namikaze Minato didn't care about killing Sand Shinobi, who had come before, but disappeared from the spot in a flash. Long before the attack on Sunagakure, Namikaze Minato and the others had agreed to destroy the Sunagakure supplies, and everyone gathered at a certain location. And at that spot, Namikaze Minato just put a kunai with a spell. So, although Namikaze Minato was the last to cover the retreat, he was the first to reach the gathering point. With Flying Thunder God, it is convenient and self-willed. Rosa there. Unwilling, Luo Sha left Namikaze Minato to chase in Kyosuke's direction, but found that no matter how hard he tried to catch up, he was not as fast as Kyosuke. In the end, Luo Sha could only stop and stood there in a daze, watching the figure of Kyosuke in the distance gradually disappear into the dark night. Behind Luo Sha, Sunagakure's supplies were roaring in the fire. At this time, Luo Sha, as if he had lost his mind, foolishly stuck on the spot, murmuring in a low voice, "It's over, it's over, it's over." In the dark, by a river. The river flowed quietly in this dark night, and from time to time there was a rushing sound of water. The bright moon is reflected in the river, and the waves are glittering. This is where Kyosuke and his small team agreed to meet. A figure appeared out of nowhere, with sunny yellow hair and a kind face. It was Namikaze Minato. With the Flying Thunder God technique, Namikaze Minato arrives at this squad gathering place, but it's just a matter of breathing. After Namikaze Minato waited here for a while, there was the sound of hurried steps from behind and the sound of heavy breathing. Apparently, several people came, and they were in a hurry. It was Kakashi and Obito who came, along with the 5 Jonin. Under the leadership of the 5 Jonin, Kakashi and Obito quickly rushed out of Sand Shinobi's encirclement, leaving behind Sand Shinobi who were chasing and killing, and came to the gathering place of the team. When Kakashi and Obito came to the river and saw a figure with yellow hair not far ahead, they couldn't help but feel happy. It's their teacher, Namikaze Minato. Teacher. When Obito saw Namikaze Minato, he was even more happy, and hurriedly stepped forward and shouted at Namikaze Minato. Mr. Namikaze Minato came here for the first time. Obito was not surprised at all, but he knew that Mr. Minato's Flying Thunder God technique was amazing. So far, in terms of speed, Obito has not seen anyone who can match the speed of Mr. Minato. Obito rushed over happily because Rin, Kyosuke, and Minato-sensei were the last to retreat. So now, Minato-sensei has come here, so Rin should be here too. Obito was a little excited when he thought of Lin. The scene where Lin was almost hurt by Sand Shinobi was still vivid in Obito's mind. The moment Sand Shinobi's ninja knife swung at Lin, Obito was really about to find out. At that moment, Obito could not wait to rush to Lin's side immediately and block the knife for Lin. But fortunately, at the critical moment, Uchiha Kyosuke's nasty guy rushed over and rescued Rin. Even though Rin was rescued by Kyosuke, Obito's resentment towards Kyosuke did not diminish at all, and instead deepened. Not only because of Uchiha Kyosuke's heroic act of saving Beauty, Obito felt very uncomfortable and panicked. And in Obito's view, although Uchiha Kyosuke saved Rin at the last critical moment, it was too rash. At that time, Kyosuke was not far from Lin, and he should have seen that Lin was in danger long ago, but Kyosuke would not save him sooner or later, and he only shot when Lin was most dangerous. Obito is very suspicious. Uchiha Kyosuke just wants to be a hero to save the Beauty, in order to win Lin's favor. At that time, if Uchiha Kyosuke was a little late, Naren would probably be gone. Thinking of this, Obito hated Uchiha Kyosuke even more. Aren't you Uchiha Kyosuke pretty good on weekdays? Then why put Rin in danger? In Obito's view, it was Uchiha Kyosuke's fault that Rin was in danger. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind, Namikaze Minato had already turned his head, and seeing Obito and Kakashi coming, Namikaze Minato felt relieved. Obito, Kakashi, you guys are here. Namikaze Minato laughed when he saw Obito and the others. At this time, Namikaze Minato noticed that Kakashi and Obito had more or less wounds on their bodies. After all, in the face of many Sand Shinobi, injuries are inevitable. However, Namikaze Minato breathed a sigh of relief. In Namikaze Minato's view, it is normal to be injured a little while on a mission, and as long as no one is killed, it is already very lucky. Besides, the mission carried out by their team was no weaker than the S-rank mission. Even more difficult than S-rank tasks. The mission was completed, and none of the team members died. I have to say that this mission, Namikaze Minato's team completed it perfectly. Minato-sensei, where's Rin? She's not hurt. 35 Obito rushed to 433 and asked in front of Namikaze Minato. After a while, he looked around for the figure. As for Kyosuke, Obito simply ignored it and even, if possible, Obito didn't want to see Kaiosuk's hateful figure. Obito, don't worry. 35 Seeing Obito talking and looking around for Rin from time to time, Namake's Minato said. In his heart, Namake's Minato sighed. It seems that Obito cares more about Rin than his own teacher. In fact, Namake's Minato has been watching Obito's feelings for Rin, but it is not broken. In Namake's Minato's view, this love affair is the private affairs of the students. Although he is a teacher, he can't be too lenient. However, Namake's Minato is not very optimistic about Obito. After all, everyone can see that Rin put her whole heart on Kaiosuk. Namake's Minato is afraid that if Obito continues to be so obsessed, something will happen one day. After all, Obito's opinionated and paranoid personality, as a teacher, Namake's Minato knew all too well. Obito, who was looking around, didn't see Rin's figure. He seemed to think of something bad. His face changed slightly, and he said to Namake's Minato in a trembling voice, "Ms. Minato, Lin, shouldn't she?" Obito didn't dare to continue speaking. He was afraid to continue speaking. Then he really got the last thing from Namake's Minato's mouth that he didn't want to hear. "Obito, you're thinking too much." Namake's Minato looked at Obito with a sullen expression. Then, Namake's Minato explained, "Don't worry, Rin is fine. She and Kaiosuk will be fine together. They'll be there in a while." As for whether Kaiosuk could be stopped by Luo Sha, who was chasing after him, Namake's Minato would not think about it at all. Because this is simply impossible. What? Rin and Uchiha Kyosuke together? Hearing Namake's Minato's words, Obito, whose face was a little unsightly from the beginning, turned into a hard look. Uchiha Kyosuke. Why is it Uchiha Kyosuke again? Chapter 86. Can't be repaired. Seeing Obito's expression, Namake's Minato. Following up, Kakashi and the 5 Jonin also rushed in front of Namake's Minato. "Teacher, are you all right?" Kakashi stepped forward, looking at Namake's Minato in front of him, and asked concerned. The 5 Jonins also came forward to say hello. "Captain Minato? Captain Minato, are you injured?" 99 Thanks to Captain Minato for this mission. 99 That's right. Hearing the caring words of Kakashi and others, Namake's Minato's slightly depressed mood instantly improved. Fortunately, finally a student cared about his teacher. Namake's Minato smiled lightly. "It's okay, there was no accident when you retreated." Although Kakashi, Obito, and the others successfully retreated, they couldn't reveal their whereabouts. Otherwise, no one could guarantee that Sand Shinobi would summon Luosha and lead a large army to rush. "Don't worry, Captain Minato, when we retreated, we were very careful to make sure that no Sand Shinobi was chasing after us. Moreover, we also dealt with the trails along the way. Even if Sand Shinobi wanted to catch up, it would not be so easy." At this time, a Jonin said to Namake's Minato, "These 5 Jonins have a lot of experience in performing tasks, and they are not comparable to the current rookies Kakashi and Obito. To cover up, confuse, and tamper with traces in the execution of tasks, these experienced Jonin, but they attach great importance to this aspect." "Well, I'm thankful everyone." Namake's Minato felt relieved when he heard the name of Jonin say so. "Make sure it's safe." Now, Namake's Minato and the others just have to wait for Kyosuke and Rin to come here to meet. By the river, after everyone waited for a while, Kyosuke's figure slowly appeared from a distance. "Look, Captain Minato, Uchiha Kyosuke is here." A Jonin couldn't help but said to Namake's Minato when he saw Kyosuke appearing in the distance. Namake's Minato nodded, and he also saw Kyosuke's figure. As soon as he heard Uchiha Kyosuke coming, Obito subconsciously looked towards Kyosuke. Don't get me wrong, Obito doesn't worry about Kyosuke. His heart is the lovely and kind Rin. However, Obito was fine if he didn't look at it. When he saw it, his face immediately turned black. What did he see? Lin actually let this guy Uchiha Kyosuke hold it, and it was the kind of princess holding it. What made Obito even more unacceptable was the fact that Lin actually put her arms around Uchiha Kyosuke's neck and buried her entire small head in Uchiha Kyosuke's arms. At this moment, Obito was hurt. His heart, as if a glass fell on the concrete floor, shattered into pieces. What? How could this be? Obito's eyes were blank, and he muttered to himself, Kyosuke, you can let me down." As they approached the place where the group assembled, and saw Namake's Minato, Kakashi, and others in front of them, Rin, who was buried in Rin's arms, said to Kyosuke shyly, "This little girl." Kyosuke smiled inwardly. "You were very active on the way just now. Why did you become shy in front of people?" Looking at the shy look on Rin's cute face in his arms, Kyosuke couldn't help but want to tease. Lin, you were very proactive just now, and you didn't really want to come down. Why? Now that you see someone coming, you want to throw me aside. After finishing speaking, the moment he entered, Kyosuke was like possessed by a movie king. He sighed with a sullen face. Alas, it seems that Lin just treats me as a tool, and now I have nothing to do with me, so she will leave me aside. 99. Lin. My life is so miserable. Lin was so annoyed by Kyosuke. She puffed up her cheeks. Kyosuke is really, what are you treating as a tool? And, me, where did I take the initiative? Kyosuke felt inexplicably cute when he saw Rin's puffed-up appearance. However, Kyosuke knew that Lin was very thin-skinned when someone was around, so she couldn't let go, and didn't tease her anymore, and put Lin in her arms when she was about to arrive. When Kyosuke put Rin down, Rin couldn't help but breathed a sigh of relief, and subconsciously glanced aside. Fortunately, Kyosuke is not angry. Lin was really worried that her actions just now would make Kyosuke think too much, thinking she disliked it or something. Fortunately, Kyosuke didn't seem to care. In fact, to be honest, Rin would like to stay buried in Kyosuke's arms for a while if possible. This is not only the first time Lin has had close contact with Kyosuke, but also, in Kyosuke's arms, Lin has an inexplicable sense of security. However, when she thought of being held by Kyosuke in front of Namikaze Minato-sensei, Rin felt very ashamed. The current Rin has a thin face, so she can't make close contact with Kyosuke in front of people. Yo, Minato-sensei, you've already arrived. It seems that we are the last. Kyosuke stepped forward, looked at Namikaze Minato, Kakashi Obito, and others with a smile, and said hello. At this moment, Lin Zhao's face, who had followed Kyosuke, was still a little ashamed, because Namikaze Minato saw the intimate behavior between her and Kyosuke just now, and Lin looked a little embarrassed. However, Lin still behaved quite generously and decently, suppressing the slight shyness in her heart, and said to Namikaze Minato, "Teacher, you have all arrived. By the way, Mr. Minato, are you injured?" Lin said, looking at Namikaze Minato with concern. In Rin's view, it was Namikaze Minato who got entangled in the fight with the powerful Rosa, creating an opportunity for Kyosuke and her retreat. For Namikaze Minato, a very responsible teacher, Rin sincerely appreciates her concern. Hearing Rin's caring words, Namikaze Minato couldn't help but warm his heart. Teacher is fine, but Rin, you were really dangerous before. Did you get hurt? Namikaze Minato said this, and when he thinks of the scene at that time, he still has lingering fears. If Kyosuke took a step back at that time, then Rin, the consequences of this, Namikaze Minato dare not imagine. However, in the end, it was fortunate that Kyosuke had a shot. Don't worry, teacher, I'm fine, thanks to Kyosuke in this time. After finishing speaking, Lin smiled with a smile in her eyes, not at all frightened by the terrifying scene before. Seeing Rin's stable appearance, Namikaze Minato felt relieved. Following him, Namikaze Minato looked at Kyosuke and felt a little emotional. Kyosuke? Really a monster. To tell the truth, the reason why this mission was successfully completed is that everyone present has indispensable credit. However, the biggest credit is none other than Kyosuke. In this mission, Kyosuke and Namikaze Minato solved the stalking Sand Shinobi, allowing a small team to sneak in silently. Kyosuke led and covered his team to burn Sand Shinobi materials, and it was Kyosuke who burned the most materials in Sand Shinobi village. He was so familiar with pouring oil and setting fires that even Namikaze Minato felt ashamed after seeing it. Also, before Namikaze Minato arrives, Kyosuke is holding back the difficult character of Rosa. Kyosuke even slaughtered a group of Sand Shinobi, severely setting down Sand Shinobi's momentum. Also, Kyosuke rescued Rin at a critical moment. All of these, Namikaze Minato saw it and felt incredible. If Kyosuke's actual age is not considered, in this mission, Kyosuke's sophistication and all that he has done are completely comparable to that of any jonin. Even Namikaze Minato felt that Kyosuke was about to catch up to him. 66 ***, Kyosuke, you worked hard for this mission. Looking at Kyosuke in front of him, Namikaze Minato was very emotional, but when he said it, there were only those words. This sentence contains Namikaze Minato's recognition of Kyosuke. Where, Mr. Minato, the reason why this mission can be successfully completed is that Mr. Minato, you commanded properly. Hearing Namikaze Minato's words, Kyosuke was very humble as usual. After all, humility made Kyosuke his progress. Seriously though, Kyosuke was telling the truth. Namikaze Minato's battle plan was crucial to the success of this mission. Also, thanks to your help this time, Mr. Minato, Rin and I have a chance to escape. If Namake's Minato hadn't been pestering Luosha at that time, and created a chance for Kyosuke to retreat, to be honest, even if Kyosuke opened the 8 inner gate's 4th gate, he might not have a chance to escape from Luosha's hands. After all, Luosha at that time was bound to kill Kyosuke. With that level of madness, who knows what crazy actions he will make next? Besides, who can guarantee that Luosha still has a whole card? At that time, Kyosuke had Rin beside him, so he couldn't afford to gamble, and he didn't dare to ask for a big gamble. Strategically choosing to retreat is the best move. So, Minato-sensei, thank you. Kyosuke said this, with a rare seriousness on his face, and said sincerely to Namake's Minato. Kyosuke, you're serious. I just did my duty. Seeing Kyosuke's serious look, Namake's Minato instead waved his hand. Namake's Minato is right. He has always been gentle and kind-hearted. In that case, whether it is Kyosuke, Rin, or any team member, he will do his best to help. This is Konoha's little son, who silently and selflessly contributes, shows frankness to his companions, and does not kill too much selfishly. Seeing Namake's Minato's unpretentious expression, Kyosuke admired and felt a little regret. The Namake's Minato people are pretty good, but what a pity. Because Namake's Minato belongs to the 3rd Hokage faction. So, Kyosuke knows that no matter how good Namake's Minato is, when the Uchiha clan and the Hokage faction clash, Namake's Minato will be entangled in the issue of standing in line, but in the end, he will definitely stand with the Hokage faction. It can be said that Namake's Minato is destined to oppose Kyosuke if the Uchiha clan wants to rise in the future. Forget it, I owe Namake's Minato a favor this time, and I will pay it back when I have a chance. Chapter 87. At this moment, Kyosuke had no choice but to think so. Although Namake's Minato insisted that it was his duty to help Kyosuke and Rin out of danger at that time, Kyosuke still did not want to owe Namake's Minato this favor. Speaking of which, Kyosuke-kun, you are really good. You fought against Luosha without losing, and you also killed many sand shinobi. 35 at this time, Namake's Minato spoke to Kyosuke with admiration in his eyes. At that time, when Kyosuke slaughtered a group of sand shinobi, the power of the green arrogance burst out from his body, and Namake's Minato was amazed by that novel physical technique. You must know that the Black Fangs in front of him, Uchiha Kyosuke, the evildoer of the Uchiha clan, showed the powerful power using Taijutsu. Also, most of the Taijutsu shown by Kyosuke is something Namake's Minato has never heard of. Kyosuke's strength has reached such a terrifying level by relying on his physical skills alone, which is already very remarkable. Namake's Minato knows how to practice Taijutsu, but it is more difficult than practicing ninjutsu. To reach the level of Kyosuke, it is not difficult. That's an ultimate physique talent. In a sense, Kyosuke's Taijutsu talent is no worse than any kind of bloodline in the ninja world. What's more, Kyosuke is only 10 years old now, so his potential in the future, it will be even more terrifying. Forehead. Hearing Namake's Minato's words of praise, if he hadn't known that Namake's Minato was an upright person who didn't entrust himself to the virtual snake, Kyosuke doubted that he was flattering himself, or Namake's Minato, who is taunting himself on the side. It is a fact that the massacre of Sand Shinobi is true. In this mission, Kyosuke killed a total of 3 Sand Shinobi Jonin, 11 Chunin, and 3 Genin. In this trip, Kyosuke gained 660 mission points. Now, Kyosuke System Panel, 437 Physiotherapy yyds System Host. Uchiha Kyosuke Abilities. 3 Body Technique, Beginner. Konoha Fluid Technique, Skilled. Paper Arts, Grandmaster. Iron Body, Grandmaster. Tempest Kick, Skilled. Rock Smashing Fist, Skilled. Armament Haki, Skilled. Shaving, Proficient. 8 Inner Gates, 4th Gate. Gene Lock First Order. Wolf Tooth Wind Fist Eternal Buff. Soul of Taishu. Taishu's training income increases by 1000%. Mission Points. 960 points. The current main quest. 3 Battles to Fame. Mission Introduction. Host emerges in the 3 wars and becomes famous. Quest Rewards. 10 quest points for every Genin killed, 30 quest points for Chunin, 100 quest points for Jonin, and 500 quest points for Kage level. At the end of the 3 battles, another reward will be given according to the degree of the host's famed daily tasks. 5,000 positive punches, 5,000 deep squats, and 50 kilograms to run 20 kilometers. Mission Reward. 5 mission points, 940 mission points. Looking at this embarrassing number, Kyosuke felt a little pity. If you hunt down 2 more Chunins at that time, you can collect 1,000 task points for the lottery. Although Kyosuke felt a little pity, he wasn't in a hurry, but it was only 60 mission points away. At that time, The matter of hunting down 2 Sand Shinobi Chunin at will on the battlefield is just a matter of delaying the lottery. Thinking about it this way, Kyosuke thought, hey, it's not really a pity. As for Namikaze Minato, Kyosuke said that he fought against Luo Sha without losing, and Kyosuke felt a little ashamed after hearing it. After all, now that Kyosuke's strength has exploded, he is at most a little stronger than the elite, CHFB, forbearance. Compared with Luo Sha, whose strength is already close to Kage level, Kyosuke still falls behind. But it's enough to know this, and Kyosuke won't make a foolish statement to tear down his own stage. Ms. Minato, you look at me too highly. I still have a lot of shortcomings. I have to learn more from you, Mr. Minato, Kyosuke replied, humbly. Rin next to Kyosuke was happy for Kyosuke when she heard her teacher compliment Kyosuke so much, and her beautiful eyes were shining brightly when she looked at Kyosuke. On the other side, likewise, Kakashi's dead fish eyes looked at Kyosuke seriously and said to himself, even Mr. Minato agrees with you, and sure enough, Uchiha Kyosuke, you are really strong. Although, Kakashi knows that his strength is not as good as Kyosuke, the gap between the two is too big, but, if possible, Kakashi still hopes that he can play against Kyosuke and see how far the gap between them is. As for Obito, hearing Namikaze Minato compliment Kyosuke so eloquently, it was rather uncomfortable. You know, he has also put in a lot of effort in this mission. Also, although Uchiha Kyosuke is very strong, Obito thinks that if he works hard, he can catch up, even. It is not impossible to surpass Uchiha Kyosuke. Yes, in this mission, Obito's self-confidence has swelled again. And the reason why Obito is so confident lies in his eyes, 2 Tomo Sharingan. No matter how powerful Uchiha Kyosuke is, he still relies on Taijutsu. Can physique be compared to your own Sharingan? Is it comparable? Moreover, Obito knows that he has awakened 2 Tomo Sharingan at his current age, and he can definitely be called a genius among the Uchiha clan. He has awakened the 2 Tomo Sharingan. Will anyone dare to call him the tail of the crane in the future? Although Obito also wanted to tell everyone about his awakening of the 2 Tomo Sharingan, so as to get everyone's attention, especially, Obito desperately wanted to get Rin her attention. However, Obito still held back abruptly. He had to wait for a good opportunity to show himself and surprise everyone. After everyone talked for a while here, Namikaze Minato felt that for safety reasons, it was not too late to return to Konoha base camp as soon as possible and inform Orochimaru and Tsunade of the completion of the mission. So, Kyosuke and his party simply cleaned up and took advantage of the night to head back towards Konoha base camp. Rosa's side. All the logistical supplies supporting Sand Shinobi were burnt, and Luo Sha looked at the destroyed supplies in a daze, at a loss. Even if the fire is extinguished, the supplies will be useless. A large group of Sand Shinobi gathered together, looking at Luo Sha, who was in a state of dismay, and their captains. Around, except for the crackling sound of burning objects, there was a terrifying silence for a while. After a long time, the lost soul of Luo Sha slowly came back to her senses. Now that the materials have been destroyed and things have already happened, it is useless to continue like this. It is better to think about what to do next and what remedies are available. It can't go on like this, otherwise, the battle between Sunagakure and Konoha will be even more hopeless. Thinking of this, Luo Sha regained his strength and glanced at the burned materials. He knew that Sunagakure's battlefield support materials were gone. Even if you try your best to rescue it, it won't help. If that's the case, then what he's going to do next is right. This important matter must be quickly told to the front line, Chiyo-sama, so that Chiyo-sama can make a correct strategic plan. Otherwise, if it is delayed any longer, the consequences will only be more serious. Thinking of this, Luo Sha was shocked, no longer confused, and spoke to the surrounding subordinates. The order goes on, and all the members rush to the base camp immediately. After finishing speaking, Luo Sha reorganized the team, and then led Sand Shinobi to leave quickly. Sand Shinobi's base camp is not very far from here, and you can arrive at this time in the morning. As for safety considerations, it is not advisable to march in a hurry at night, so as not to suffer from ambush soldiers, and now Luo Sha can no longer care so much. Now, Luo Sha just wants to rush to Sand Shinobi base camp immediately and tell Chiyo-sama about the matter quickly. Long ago, Chiyo led the Sand Shinobi army to the Sand Shinobi base camp on the border. Now, Chiyo is waiting for the arrival of Luo Sha's logistics transport troops. Due to the slow movement of the Sand Shinobi logistic transport unit, there will be some delays. Frontier of the Land of Winds, Sand Shinobi base camp. Sand Shinobi coach tent. At this time, Chiyo was in the top seat, watching the sand table of the battle situation in front of him, listening to his subordinates' analysis of the battle situation and deployment suggestions. In the next seat, there is one-tailed Jinchuriki and a beautiful and attractive female ninja, about 18 or 19 years old. At this time, a sand shinobi came in at the entrance of the tent to report. Lord Chiyo, Lord Luosha is here. Rosa is here? Hearing Sand Shinobi's report coming in, Chiyo couldn't help frowning. Luosha led the Sand Shinobi Logistics Transport Unit. The materials were heavy and they were inconvenient to move. According to Chiyo's estimate, Luosha and the others would have to arrive here in the afternoon or tomorrow at the earliest. Chiyo didn't even think about it. Luosha got here so quickly this morning. Doubts are doubts, but Chiyo didn't think much about it. Even if the logistics transport unit led by Luosha arrived earlier, Chiyo can also deploy the battle plan as soon as possible. Is Luosha here? Okay, let him in, Chiyo ordered. Yes. 95 The Sand Shinobi, who came in to report, hesitated for a while, and then replied. Although Luosha came with the logistics transport troops, only people came, and the materials transported on the carriages were empty, and they didn't see anything at all. Moreover, he saw that most of the logistics transport troops were sluggish, their battle uniforms were dilapidated, and many of their companions were injured. Seeing this scene, needless to say, the logistics transport force led by Luosha must have been attacked on the way. Their Sand Shinobi village supplies are probably gone. However, Sand Shinobi, who came in, did not dare to tell Chiyo about these circumstances. They are about to fight with Konoha. They have had small-scale fights with Konoha many times before, but they have not been in the upper hand, and they have also caused many casualties among their companions, making their Sunagakyor's morale not very high. If such a thing really happened, wouldn't their Sunagakyor make things worse? He doesn't want to touch this bad guy. So let the person involved, Lord Luosha, explain it to Lord Chiyo. Thinking of this, Sand Shinobi, who came in to report, quit. Chiyo didn't pay much attention to the Sand Shinobi who came in to report just now, and kept her eyes on the sand table of the battle situation in front of her. However, one person in the field noticed the abnormality in the expression of the Sand Shinobi who came in to report. In the lower seat, there is a tall and perfect female ninja with a delicate and beautiful face. Chapter 88. The most conspicuous thing was the yellow hair hanging down on both sides of her eyes. The whole person looked at her with a splendid and beautiful appearance. This person is Yitsong, the scorched-style blood continent ninja in Sunagakyor, the land of wind. He is powerful, especially good at using scorched style and oversteaming, and is no weaker than Luosha. Yitsong saw that Sand Shinobi's expression was hesitant to speak, and she couldn't help but wrinkle her delicate eyebrows. Could it be that something happened to the logistics transport unit led by Luosha? If that's the case, then bad. Hope you don't think too much. In his heart, Yitsong could only think like this. After all, if there is a problem with the Sunagakyor logistics transport unit led by Luosha, what will Sunagakyor use to fight Konoha next? After a while, Luosha appeared at the door of the coach's tent. Luosha, who entered the tent, looked up and saw Chiyo who was sitting in the seat. His face was embarrassed, and he was deeply ashamed. Back then, Chiyo-sama trusted him so much and entrusted him with the important task of escorting Sunagakyor supplies. Unexpectedly, he has completely smashed things. I have let down the high hopes of Chiyo-sama. Luosha is here. How is it? Everything will go well. Seeing Luosha, who came in from the tent, a smile appeared on Chiyo's face. Chiyo is very optimistic about Luosha, not only because Luosha's strength is comparable to Kaga level, he has a powerful magnet-style purple gold, and Luosha's ability to handle affairs is very strong, and he rarely makes mistakes in performing tasks. Therefore, Chiyo is very relieved to give Luosha the important task of escorting Sunagakyor's war supplies. In fact, Chiyo has some meaning to support Luosha's upper position. From Chiyo's point of view, there is a very high possibility that something has happened to 3rd Kazekage. Although she is currently hosting Sunagakyor, Sunagakyor still needs Kazekage to take charge of the overall situation. Fengying is not only the leader of Sunagakyor, but also the face of Sunagakyor. Due to Chiyo's age and other reasons, it is impossible for her to become Sunagakyor's next Kazekage. And Luosha is undoubtedly the best existence among the younger generation, and it is perfect to be the next Fengying. Although Yitsong's strength is also very strong and excellent, he is not inferior to Luosha. However, Yakura is a female ninja after all, and in Sunagakyor, men have always been respected. Therefore, as for Kazekage's heir, if he wanted to choose one from Yitsong and Luosha, Chiyo chose Luosha without hesitation. Therefore, Chiyo intends to pave the way for Luosha, and hand over the important task of escorting Sunagakure supplies to Luo Sha, so that Luo Sha can accumulate more military exploits so that he can successfully inherit the position of Fengying. Hearing Chiyo-sama's words, Luo Sha felt more and more guilty in his heart. He forced himself to walk forward with a thud, and knelt down in front of Chiyo with a plop. As soon as Luo Sha came up, Chiyo was a little confused. "Luo Sha, you are?" Before Chiyo could finish speaking, Luo Sha lowered his head, gritted his teeth in guilt and regretted. "Lord Chiyo, I'm sorry. I have let down your high hopes. Mission failed. I also asked Chiyo-sama to punish me. I am willing to accept any punishment." Luo Sha lowered her head and gritted her teeth. She clenched her fists tightly, and her fingernails were inserted into her flesh, bleeding profusely. Luo Sha's words, like a heavy hammer, slammed into the hearts of everyone present. What? Mission failed? Does that mean that there's Sunagakure supplies to support the war gone? So what will you do next to fight Konoha? For a time, various voices in the coach's tent rang out one after another, and there was a lot of discussion, making it too noisy. And herein Chiyo, when she saw Luo Sha came up and knelt down in front of her, she had a bad premonition. Chiyo thought vaguely in his heart, something may have happened. And with the words Luo Sha said next, Chiyo's bad conjecture was indeed correct. Mission failed. Luo Sha's words were like a heavy blow, hitting Chiyo's heart ruthlessly. At this moment, Chiyo only thought, the logistics support materials are gone. That is an important material to support them. Sunagakure will fight hard with Konoha next. Now, if it's gone, it's gone. So is it necessary to continue the next war? After hearing the bad news like a thunderbolt, Chiyo was silent for a while. Throughout the tent, various voices rang out one after another. Some lamented, some pessimistic, some angry, some doubting. In short, when the people present heard the news of Luo Sha, they were all confused. After a long time, snapped. The sound of a palm slamming on the table immediately brought the commotion like a vegetable market to an abrupt end. Noisy, what a formality. Chiyo looked around and scolded. Calm returned to the tent. Chiyo exhaled heavily, followed by looking at Luo Sha, who was kneeling with his head down, and said in a cold tone, "Luo Sha, tell the whole story in detail. What exactly happened?" Rao is how much Chiyo values Luo Sha, but when such a major problem occurs, Chiyo is also extremely angry. She would have to see who dared to do it Sunagakure so recklessly. Yes, Chiyo-sama. Afterwards, Luo Sha, who lowered his head below, slowly explained what happened late last night one by one. Last night, I was leading the logistics transport unit. Everyone present continued to remain silent after listening to Luo Sha explain in detail what happened last night. After Chiyo fully understood the matter, she remained silent. It's no surprise that Chiyo was attacked by the Sand Shinobi Logistics Transport Unit. But the Konoha raid team, led by Namikaze Minato, couldn't help frowning at the thought of Chiyo. This Namikaze Minato, Chiyo has heard of, is the elite jonin of Konoha village, and it is said that he has a strength close to Kage level. Moreover, Namikaze Minato's Flying Thunder God technique is even more superb. It is rumored that his speed is extremely fast and unparalleled. If Namikaze Minato led the surprise attack on their Sunagakure, then Chiyo would understand that question somewhat. Why did Luo Sha say that the stalker he sent out at the time didn't move? It must have been taken out by Namikaze Minato, a man with unparalleled speed. Thinking of this, Chiyo became a little enlightened. And, according to Sunagakure's intel, Tsunade of Konoha village has come to the front line of the Land of Fire. Therefore, Chiyo knew that the plan for Konoha to attack their Sunagakure logistics transport unit must have come from Orochimaru and the Senju family princess, Senju Tsunade, both of them. Thinking of this, Chiyo's heart became heavy. Orochimaru and Tsunade, it seems that they are not easy to deal with. Before the two villages officially fought, Konoha had already dealt a heavy blow to Sunagakure, and Chiyo had to be more cautious. Seeking flowers, to be honest, I can't really blame Luo Sha too much. If someone else leads the Sand Shinobi Logistics Transport Unit, it is very likely that Konoha's surprise attack plan will succeed. But after all, Luo Sha led the team to make this extremely serious mistake, and Luo Sha must take responsibility for it. At this time, when Chiyo heard that Kyosuke was still involved in this incident, and that they were still sabotaging Sand Shinobi, the anger in Chiyo's heart was finally unbearable. Clap. Chiyo, who was burning with anger, angrily slapped the table with the battle situation sand table in front of him. Good Uchiha Kyosuke. Good Black Fangs. Good. This kid spoils our good deeds again. Hearing that Namikaze Minato led a surprise attack on their Sunagakure logistics transport unit, Chiyo's anger was still bearable. However, Chiyo couldn't hold back his anger when he heard that Black Fang, Uchiha Kyosuke, was involved and murdered and set fire to it. And this title reminds Chiyo of Konoha's White Fang, and she is even more angry. Point 0 From the very beginning of Dune Valley, Uchiha Kyosuke beheaded them Sunagakure's elite jonin, near Iman. In the past few months, Uchiha Kyosuke was active on the borders of their country of wind, hunting down countless of their companions. Until now, they attacked their Sunagakure logistics transport troops, and even more unscrupulously murdered and set fire. All of this made Chiyo hate Uchiha Kyosuke so much. Although Chiyo explained Sand Shinobi at the border, if he encounters Uchiha Kyosuke, he must be killed first. However, Chiyo never thought that Uchiha Kyo would grow up so fast. I'm afraid, ordinary jonin, and special jonin, and even elite jonin can't do anything about that nasty guy Uchiha Kyosuke. So, all our supplies have been burned by Namikaze Minato and the others? At this time, Chiyo's face was gloomy and expressionless. Yes, Lord Chiyo. Luo Sha could only lower her head and force herself to say, how many people have our logistical transport troops lost this time? Chiyo continued with a gloomy face, expressionless. Luo Sha continued to grit his teeth. This time we lost a total of 25 personnel, including 4 jonin, 14 chunin, and 7 genin. 35 before that, Luo Sha continued. Among them, 3 of our jonin were killed by Uchiha Kyosuke, and as for chunin and genin, most of them were also killed by Black Fangs. After Luo Sha finished speaking in one breath, he exhaled heavily, as if the huge stone pressing on his heart had been put down. Luo Sha no longer cares about his own life and death. Everything is handed over to Lord Chiyo. No matter what, Luo Sha will never have the slightest criticism. Black Fangs. After hearing all this, Chiyo couldn't help gnashing his teeth. She decided that if she encounters this hateful guy on the battlefield, no matter what, she will kill the Black Fangs as soon as possible. I also asked Chiyo-sama to severely punish his subordinates. Luo Sha, who was kneeling on the ground, said to Chiyo. Looking at Luo Sha below, Chiyo's eyes were filled with disappointment. Luo Sha, you really disappointed me this time. After hearing Chiyo's words, Luo Sha remained silent. You will be punished, but we'll talk about it when we get back to the village now. Chapter 89. Chiyo looked at Luo Sha below and said, you still have more important things to do. You can't be the main force on this battlefield. Chiyo's words contain a lot of information. Taking the seat, a snow-white ascetic monk, One-Tailed Jinchuriki said to Chiyo, Chiyo-sama, do we still have to fight Konoha village? Chiyo's words just now vaguely contained this meaning. If not, Chiyo glanced at Fanfu. We have already reached this point. Do you think we Sunagakure still have a way to go back? But our supplies. Looking at Chiyo with a firm tone, Fanfu wanted to continue to persuade him, hoping that Chiyo would calm down and not make a wrong decision because of impulsive anger. The current situation itself is not good for us Sunagakure. If we fight Konoha again, I'm afraid, in this situation, there is nothing to take into account. 35 After the blessing was finished, Chiyo waved directly and interrupted. Sunagakure has done everything in the village for this war, and we have no way out. 39 Let it go. We Sunagakure still have a little chance of winning. If we retreat at this time and wait for our result, it will be a complete failure. Chiyo made this decision, in fact, is very helpless. In order to prepare for the 440 battle with Konoha, Sunagakure has already exhausted the manpower and material resources in the village. If they retreat at this time, not only will they fall short, it will seriously affect their morale, and it will cause great resentment and dissatisfaction among the people in the village. Even when other countries see it, they will despise Sunagakure more and more, believing that their village is exhausted at this time. Especially for neighboring countries, the land of the country, this is a golden opportunity. At that time, the land of Earth and the others might attack Sunagakure. This is something Chiyo never wants to see. As soon as possible, Chiyo no longer explained too much and directly and decisively issued the order. Yitsong, send the order down, let the troops rectify well, adjust their state, and go to Konoha with me after half a day. Since you guys at Konoha village are so fond of sneak attacks, this time Chiyo decided to break the boat, learn from the other party, and attack them in a big way when Konoha didn't expect it. Presumably, Orochimaru and Tsunade on Konoha's side certainly did not expect Chiyo to make such a dangerous move. Hearing Chiyo's order, Yitsong opened her mouth. She actually wanted to dissuade Chiyo, but, in the end, Yitsong didn't say anything to persuade him, so he had to obey. Yes, Lord Chio. After speaking, Yitsong quickly left the tent to convey the order. For such an important matter, Yitsong not only has to convey her orders, but she also needs to prepare well for the upcoming battle. The other side. After a long journey, Kyosuke and the others finally returned to the base camp at the Konoha border. As soon as he saw Konoha base camp not far away, Kyosuke couldn't help but feel a little apprehensive. Returning to the Konoha base camp means that Kyosuke has to face the fierce girl. That's right, Nanny Tsunade. Kyosuke didn't forget how a few days ago, when the mission set off, how arrogantly he said in front of everyone that Tsunade was a nanny, that she was arrogant or something. At that time, Tsunade gritted his teeth and said that he wanted to teach Kyosuke how to behave on behalf of Uchiha Fugaku. Since I had to do a task before, I could avoid Tsunade. At that time, Kyosuke was too lazy to get used to Tsunade and had a mentality of breaking the jar. If he couldn't stand it, don't be polite to Tsunade and just talk about it. At that time, Kyosuke thought that it would take several days to go out to do the task anyway, so maybe Tsunade's anger would be almost gone when Kyosuke came back. Well now, the mess from a few days ago, after all, I have to deal with it myself. As for the thought, it's been a few days and Tsunade's anger must be almost gone. Kyosuke thinks it's just paralyzing himself. Deceiving yourself. Cover up. Steal your ears. Steal the bell. Based on what Kyosuke knew about Tsunade, is she the kind of person who is tolerant, doesn't fuss with juniors too much, and calms down quickly? Yes? To this, Kyosuke can only reply like this, hee. Therefore, at this time, Kyosuke's pace slowed down, and he walked slowly. Hey, what a sin. Why did you talk so cheaply at that time? Can't you just stay away from that big fierce girl and grow well? Gotta go surf. This is good. The good situation has been wiped out by myself, and now even Konoha base camp does not dare to go back. Damn, it's all the fault of Tsunade, the fierce girl. You say you have nothing to do with showing off your arrogant body. Isn't that why Chiguagua has to seduce him? Kyosuke secretly despised Tsunade in his heart. Tsunade, is it wrong for an emotional old lady to walk on the road? Kyosuke-kun, what's wrong with you? Are you not feeling well? Lin, who was on the side, saw that Kyosuke's pace slowed down at this time, and asked with concern. Lin thought that after the battle last night, Kyosuke couldn't bear it or was injured. Lin's words also caught the attention of Namikaze Minato and others. Hearing Lin's words, Kyosuke coughed a few times. I'm fine, Lin, don't worry. Kyosuke-kun, why don't you wait and let Tsunade-sama check your body? Hearing Rin say that, even Namikaze Minato couldn't help saying this to Kyosuke. After all, the unusual green arrogance emanating from Kyosuke last night, and then his strength skyrocketed. Although Namikaze Minato doesn't know what kind of taiju move that Kyosuke is, Namikaze Minato knows that Kyosuke's taijutsu will definitely cause a lot of damage to the body. Let Tsunade see his body? Are you sure you're not kidding me? I don't even dare to see that be ****** now. So tired of letting me go? Isn't this self-inflicted and let me go to death? Hearing Namikaze Minato's words, Kyosuke was speechless. Cough, Minato-sensei. You've got your mind, but I'm really fine. Kyosuke directly rejected Namikaze Minato's kindness. Kyosuke-kun, as a ninja, it's the worst thing to do if you're injured, and, as you may not know, Tsunade-sama is the best medical ninja in our Konoha village. 35 Don't worry. I believe that with Tsunade-sama there, no matter what kind of injury Kyosuke-kun has, Tsunade-sama will be able to heal you. Namikaze Minato said to Kyosuke very enthusiastically. Kyosuke couldn't bear Namikaze Minato's excessive enthusiasm, but they were kind, so it's not easy for you to refuse with cold words. Forehead. Kyosuke was very embarrassed to see Namikaze Minato eagerly rushing him to the fire pit. It's like shooting yourself in the foot. Kyosuke regretted a little. Actually, it's been several days since I was out on a mission, and it's strange that I want to be here at the base camp. 35 Helpless. Kyosuke had no choice but to talk nonsense, with a touch of sadness on his face, and sighed with emotion. Sigh. After staying at the base camp for a few months, I'm used to the life here, and it feels like another home for me. Now that I'm back at base camp, I can't help but want to go back to Konoha village, so I'm a little afraid to go back to base camp. 99 Kyosuke's words are really not wrong. Although near nostalgia is false, but he is really afraid of Tsunade's fierce girl. As far as Tsunade's strange power is concerned, with one punch, Kyosuke can probably be cast out by Tsunade. Kyosuke wouldn't even want to come back here if he could. Kyosuke's remarks directly touched Namikaze Minato. He felt that Kyosuke was too difficult for this child, and he was pitiful. He even regarded the battlefield as his home. Ugh. Namake's Minato couldn't help sighing in his heart. He couldn't help it. He remembered that before the battle, Lord Third Hokage specially stopped Namake's Minato and said to him, "Minato, this time, when you arrive at the battlefield of the Land of Wind, pay special attention to Uchiha Kyosuke." Third Hokage-sama's intention to say this to himself couldn't be more obvious. Namake's Minato knew that Lord Hokage wanted him to monitor Uchiha Kyosuke, the evil genius of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Kyosuke makes Third Hokage-sama feel threatened. Because of Uchiha Kyosuke's outstanding performance on the border of the Country of Fire, it spread to the village, and almost everyone in Konoha village knew that there was such a genius in the Uchiha family, who desperately defended the safety of the village. This is not a good thing for the Hokage faction led by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Now the Uchiha clan is very powerful in the village, and it is no exaggeration to be the largest clan in Konoha. Now, Uchiha Kyosuke, an amazing genius, has appeared, and the commoners in the village are also very optimistic about Uchiha Kyosuke. In this case, wouldn't the Uchiha clan gain the support of the villagers and become even more prosperous? In the village, the relationship between the Uchiha clan and the village, especially with the Hokage faction, has always been poor, as Namake's Minato knew. It's just that Namake's Minato didn't expect that the conflict between the Uchiha clan and the Hokage faction would reach such a bad level, and now the third Hokage-sama has begun to guard against Kyosuke. 5.1 Alas, didn't expect Kyosuke to be under so much pressure at his age. Namake's Minato sighed inwardly. The conflict between the Uchiha clan and the Hokage faction is like a dead knot, which the current Namake's Minato cannot tie. Even if Namake's Minato has the ability to unravel, but as a Hokage faction, he may not be able to do anything. Kyosuke didn't expect his nonsense to make Namake's Minato think of many things. After Kakashi and Obito heard Kyosuke's words, although they sounded a vague sense of incomprehension, the meaning expressed in Kyosuke's words could not help but move them a little. Kyosuke is similar in age to them, but his performance on this battlefield is very bright, and he has made a lot of contributions to the village, which is incomparable to Kakashi and Obito. Looking at Kyosuke, whether it's Kakashi or Obito, this moment shows a kind of respect for Kyosuke. As for Lin, her whole heart was tied to Kyosuke for a long time, and when she heard Kyosuke's words, she felt inexplicably sad. So Lin couldn't help but approached Kyosuke, reached out her little hand to hold Kyosuke's hand tightly, and whispered to Kyosuke, "Kyosuke-kun, don't worry, there will be me in the future." Lin actually put down her shyness and dared to hold her hand in front of everyone.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card, directly on my channel, or right here on the screen. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.